And that's what happens when the microphone doesn't engage. Hey, I am sorry about that. That's going to do it for another No Agenda Rock and Roll pre-show. Thanks to everybody for tuning in, requesting tunes, trolling along. It's very much appreciated. But it is now time for the main event. The episode 13 years in the making. It's the best damn podcast in the universe. And it's essential listening, even more so after all of these years. Congratulations to Adam and John on 13 years. They never had a fight. Thank you, gentlemen, for your courage. I'll be back on Thursday to pump the wattage into your cottage, blast the bass into your face all over again. Until then, I am Darren O'Neill. These are my last few words. Take it away, Podfather.
You are listening to the No Agenda stream, where freedom lives and censorship comes to get its ass kicked.
Last few words.
Darren, thank you, brother. You gave me a little fright there. I was trying to connect. I didn't know what was going on. Yes! Thank you for our 13th anniversary rock and roll pre-show. You are connected to Austin, Texas.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for your Gitmo Nation National Anthem.
In the morning, Gitmo Nation, we are all charged up to be human resources and servants in all lands and all ships at sea. From the east to west, down under to the lowlands and beyond. We are happy and distracted slaves. Hear our Gitmo Nation song.
For 13 years. The No Agenda
Show successfully
provided.
Impactful media analysis. A little bit of unknown news. Have you ever heard about this? Remarkable
Information
from around the world.
He has influences in his background that are going to push him towards not making this happen.
Risk
Management.
It has nothing to do with safety. This is just the theater part. It's just
we know that.
Service animal reports.
Dog in the stroller.
Dog in the stroller.
Relief from swollen amygdalas.
The smallest thing triggers people these days.
Process of healing cognitive dissonance.
Smartphones with cameras is an international health crisis.
Network disconnect.
Regardless
Of dimension.
You come here a lot.
Go to noagendameetups.com for details.
No Agenda Show.
celebrating 13 years. The best
Podcast
In the universe.
Yeah.
Because we can't just build back to the way things were before. We have to build back better. Build back better.
The original Money, Honey, and Fox Business News, Maria Bartiromo. The original Money, Honey, and Fox Business News, Maria Bartiromo.
Well, I do think it's extraordinary that there seems to be this cover-up underway.
She's so stunned. I think she's genuinely surprised by this. This is what stuns me. She is stuck. She doesn't have a good slot. She is stuck over on Fox Business.
The original Money, Honey, and Fox Business News, Maria Bartiromo. The original Money, Honey, and Fox Business News, Maria Bartiromo.
The media doesn't want to touch it. It's absolutely extraordinary to me.
Sassy ass bitch.
A sassy ass bitch who turned me on to the show. A sassy ass bitch who turned me on to the show.
She's covering all the bases with these stories. And she's about to have a nervous breakdown. Because nobody is paying any attention to her.
She can take solace in knowing that the producer of House of Cards listens to her.
Oh, there you go again.
Why is there no accountability? He's an elected official. How does he come out on the news media and say all of these things if it's not true, Director?
Sassy ass bitch.
Hello, I'm Elke de Klerk from the Netherlands, and I want to state that we do not have a medical pandemic or epidemic. We also state that COVID-19 should not be on list A for any longer, because we now know that it is a normal flu virus, and the normal flu virus isn't on list A. So we are also starting a lawsuit to the state of the Netherlands. I want to state, if there is no pandemic, I'm wondering why our kids are in schools with masks. There's absolute constitutional rights, and they cannot be infringed or infringed for any medical reason. There's no reason for panic. The panic is created by these false positive PCR tests. 89% until 94% of those PCR tests are false positive. They don't test for the COVID-19, and also the rest is false negative. So we have to start looking at the clinic. Medical doctors have to stop looking at those tests. That's very important. Let's go back to the clinics and to the facts. Facts. We do not have a medical pandemic or epidemic. We have in the Netherlands now the regular press publishing the news that the PCR test is not a correct test. So I'm very happy about that. There's absolute constitutional rights, and they cannot be infringed or infringed for any medical reason. We do not have a medical pandemic or epidemic. So there's hope.
I'm going to be superficial for a moment. She's super cute. No more lockdowns. That's Van Morrison, everybody. I wish I could say he was a producer, but he is not. He is, however, fantastic. All right, it's 11 o'clock. Do you know where your John C. Dvorak is? I don't know. Let me see. Has he texted? Has he? Let's see. Let us see. Okay. No more lockdowns. No more lockdowns. No more lockdowns. No more lockdowns. Hello. Where are you? What are you? Where are you, man? No more lockdowns. No more lockdowns. Hey, the bell needs a little readjustment. There we go. Okay. Where, oh where, oh where, oh where we need that one. No more lockdowns. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. 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 No more lockdowns. Hey, do I hear a ground loop? Do I hear a ground loop? Let's listen. No, I don't. Okay, good. I do not hear one. That is good news. Very, very good news. Good, what? Sir. Oh, hello. Hello. Hello.
What's the good news?
Oh, that I don't have a ground loop. That was the good news.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that's good news.
Here, let me write it down and put it in a newsletter. When did you have a ground loop?
I don't know. It's good news. I'm going for good news today. It's only good news. All right. Hey, let's do this.
That lady! That bitch! Valkyrie! It's
Time once again to ride the Valkyries, and that means we have a bat signal on the loose. Go out there, retweet the tweet, boost the toot. It is time for the 13th anniversary episode 1289. PCR test. PCR test. Okay, working.
Right back.
Yeah, no problemo. You come right back, sir. Whenever you're ready, we be ready. John went out just for a pack of smokes, and he never came back. No boy. La-diddy-dow, zippity-hood. Yes, it's just an amplification process. Correct. Yum-diddy-dom-dom. Be built back better. I'm going to give you the full load now, the whole load. Lordy. Hey, trolls. How you doing, trolls? Pa-pa-pa-pa. Hey, Logan. 5. Yo. 42 is the meaning of life. Did you guru in the morning? Yes. I only started listening to it because it dropped yesterday. I'm excited to hear it.
Pick it up.
It dropped. Once it's dropped, there's no picking it up.
It's like you dropped your balls.
Yeah.
It dropped.
It dropped. Should be dropping. Okay. Hey. Let me double check the recording systemology. Speakers. Yep. Mode 2, 1. Yep. Wait. Which mode 2? Hello, mode 2. 124. Yeah. Hello, Moto. Okay. Are you close?
Getting there.
Okay. I'll get some tissue.
What's this thing? What? There.
What?
Hang on a second.
I'm hanging.
A key piece of information is missing from my printout.
Well, that is just not going to do. We shall wait for said key pieces of info.
Yeah, okay. If I can do it on this. Yes. Print this out. That. Huh. What does it take to print it out?
Two.
Huh.
1, 2. 2. Check 2. 3. PCR, process. 2-2. Speaker's a little loud.
Well, this sucks.
What are you missing?
I'm missing 2 pages of a printout that I need to refer to during one of my presentations.
Okay. 2-2-2-2-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-2-2-2-2. Check 2-2-1-2-2. All right.
Now, why isn't it printing? I have to go to the other computer now.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's all right.
Exactly why it's not printing is being make any sense, actually. Oh, I know why.
We'll do it live. LibreOffice. It'll do it to you every time. Probably Southlander. Who's James Randi? Oh, magician. Oh, the amazing Randy, of course. Trolldar, shut up. Yes, Ned. Oh my God, it's a shocker. He doesn't know James Randi. Slowly, the hours and minutes ticked away as the boys were ready for their 13th anniversary. But the dot matrix printer.
All right.
What? You were in such a good mood. I don't want you to be in a bad mood.
No, I'm in a great mood.
Do you have your papers now?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
I have my papers here.
Can you turn down your speakers just a little bit?
You keep getting louder.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's me getting louder. Okay.
Ready?
It's just a little. You're just kicking the noise gate open with myself. So.
Okay, turn it down even more.
1 2 1 2 1 2. Yeah, that's
what?
Yeah, it's what? It's still there. You turned it right back up, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
Well, then I'll just do more. No, because I can hear myself coming back. Let me do more noise gate. It's just you got to stay on the mic. 2.
Okay, testing 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20.
Oh yeah, it's great when you do that, but when you turn your head, you fall away. It's all right. Well,
I'm falling away.
I've been doing this for 13 years. I'm sure I can do
13. What?
Let's do it.
What are you talking about? 13 years.
Hit me.
Hit it.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Sunday, October 25th, 2020. This is your award-winning Gibonation Media Assassination episode 1289.
This is No Agenda.
Celebrating 13 years. News and broadcasting live from Opportunity Zone 33 here in the frontier of Austin, Texas, capital of the Drone Star State. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, let's get right to the donation segment. I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is once again a celebration here on the No Agenda Show. 13 years together, and we never had a fight. So happy. Congratulations, John.
Well, congratulations to you.
And
congratulations to you. You know, I have, just to start off, I don't want to play these all now, but I do want to play one.
Okay.
These are the No Agenda. I guess I took some clips, old clips, and I thought one would be quite appropriate just to start the show with.
Okay, all right.
This is NA Classic. They're all under that moniker.
Yes.
First discussion of show length.
And this is an early show, No Agenda.
Probably show 20.
In our
No Agenda.
No Agenda. Yeah, 3-4 topics sounds about right. Maybe we could do it once a week. Yeah, it might work out.
I think that's a good idea. I don't think we can sustain this length because sometimes, I mean, the interview you had with Dr. Ron was worth discussing for a while.
Yeah, true. Okay, so we'll see. But this, I would say, I agree. This is maybe a little bit on the long side, but just underneath. 40 minutes is pretty much the max, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
It's so cool that it sounds like we're on a pirate ship in the North Sea. 3 topics. Just 3 topics should be enough. I mean, that's really more than anyone needs to hear from us, right? Just 3 topics. Oh, yeah. Hey, also, congratulations and happy anniversary to all of our producers tuning in, to everybody in the troll room. Thank you to there's so many people we could thank, but we already have a long donation segment.
We got enough people to thank.
But Void Zero, Sir Bemrose, Darren O'Neill,
Bemrose,
all of the artists, Code Monkey who read our website, the search guys. It's so many people to thank. And we can't, because it would just be one circle jerk, because everybody's responsible. This, after all, is your best podcast in the universe. You're not listeners. You're active participants. You are the producers, and we could not be happier to still be here. And really, really appreciate all the support in creating the value for value model and getting us to where we are today. And we might as well alert the affiliates. We'll probably be going a little bit long. Not too long, though. I don't think it'll be too bad. Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, you do? I only glanced at the spreadsheet. I'm like, okay, I'm sure there's a lot of people have a lot to say, and that's why we do it. Ooh, we did.
I have another idea.
Okay.
Because we always have to shorten these things up somehow, and I think we should. Anyone sends an anonymous note, it has to be cut down to a minimum. You're anonymous.
What kind of idea is that?
Unless it's revealing state secrets, which we don't get anyway. I don't think if someone comes in with an anonymous note, should write a War and Peace.
This is a new rule on the 13th.
It's not a rule yet.
We'll call it the 13th rule, and it'll go down in history.
Anonymous, and then they write the longer notes. It doesn't make
Yes, John, because they're anonymous. They feel more comfortable speaking their mind.
Well, yeah, but are they ashamed?
Yes, of course. We're that uncle that you like, but you don't really want to tell anybody you like us. I'm okay with that. I get it. But people become less anonymous over time. They really do. I mean, we have so many cool emails to go through this morning. I will note that last night we had a little bit of pre-celebration with a former New York banker at his place, and it was very interesting. They had another couple over, and we sat by their fire pit, and I was kind of waiting to see.
Wait. Can you restate that?
Yeah, there was another couple there, so it was 6 of us, and we all sat by the fire pit outside. They got a fire pit.
Oh, you're over at their place?
Yes, their place, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the burn pit.
You said you had them over. That was you got me misled.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, they had other friends over. And we didn't know. We knew one of the other people, but not the guy. And so I was curious to see if there would be any politics. There was a debate that had just happened, and yeah, exactly. There was lots of champagne, which led me to believe that they were just all drinking their sorrows away after the debate. And there was no fire, no fire in that regard. And I really didn't get anything out of him, except one important piece of information, because he did bring up the CBDCs, the central bank digital coins, and he remains staunch in his opinion that there will never be a digital dollar. And I said, well, you cannot dispute what the Fed is announcing and saying they're going to do. He said, you have to understand the whole field. I'm like, okay. Apparently, according to him...
Why didn't he just say, what the hell do you think you know?
No, that's always implied. We don't have to go through that anymore. It's like, I got you. Just give me your information. He says this is a defensive move and a posturing move because everybody is scared crapless about the Ant IPO. The Ant Group. Yeah, the Ant Alibaba. The Ant Group IPO, which is going to be enormous, and he says everyone's afraid of their digital payment system because they have one in the Alibaba chat or whatever the hell it is. They've got digital money, which has been being used.
Isn't that WeChat? Isn't that WeChat?
It might be. I think Alibaba.
WeChat's where all the money goes in and out of.
Now I'm not sure. But
that's okay. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter. But he said that's why. And he says the pricing of the IPO, everyone's freaking out. They say it could be $35 billion. It's pretty big. That's a big ass IPO.
Yes.
$35 billion. So that's what he says this is all about. And he reiterated his stance. He said, why would you want to ruin billion-dollar businesses as banks? Why would you want to? And I said, well, there's a lot of people who hate banks. He said, yeah, but it makes no sense. So he's not kind of, he is in your camp on that. So.
Well.
Yeah.
It's logical.
Yes.
And bankers are tough.
Thank you all for your courage who have been sending me articles based upon the PCR process, mislabeled as a test throughout the world and being used incorrectly as a test. We got some high-level people coming in. But first, I'd like to remind us what Bill and Belinda Gates said. Bill and Melinda.
Might as well go with it.
Yeah, we might as well just keep it that way. Bill and Belinda Gates this was in June when they were talking about the very same situation we are in now, the so-called second wave.
In fact, the testing could have been ramped up very quickly in a few countries that have almost avoided the epidemic entirely, like Taiwan, New Zealand, Australia. They took their experience. And
notice how he's wrong about Australia. Although, he's not wrong because there's really nothing going on in Australia. They've just locked down Melbourne for the hell of it. But okay.
Taiwan, New Zealand, Australia, they took their experience and actually prepared, and so they moved a lot faster. So we, we'll have to prepare for the next one. That, I'd say will get attention this time.
That will get attention next time. So that's where we are. What is cool about this video is now a screenshot from this is being used and circulated to show that this is no longer the original Bill and Melinda Gates. These are imposters. Yeah, now you can laugh.
I'm laughing.
So and this is a conspiracy theory, goes that a while ago, a couple of years ago, both of them were killed in India because people were so pissed off about their vaccines, and the vaccines had been killing children, and so they did away with them. And if you look, and I put it in the show notes, man, they definitely look different. Melinda is a lot cuter now than she was.
Well, I find, not to be offensive, but I find that hard to believe.
Well, remember he lost his rocking back and forth? All of that went away. You know, there's definitely different body behavior, but the faces are significantly different.
I'm going to have to look at this material.
That's okay. It's nothing we need to stop and ponder too long, but I did just want to because you never know. You got to put that stuff out there because, one day, those guys, you guys knew about it.
Now we can say, we talked about this on show 1289.
Yeah, we did, exactly. Okay, one quick update as the magic numbers are coming back again. We're having a repeat of the first wave.
This morning, doctors and medical officials warning a fall coronavirus surge is blanketing the United States.
Blanketing!
It is frustrating to me to see all these people that are really suffering through this disease.
This week, 39 states reporting rising hospitalizations, with 14 hitting record highs. Illinois' director of the Department of Public Health breaking down, announcing her state's staggering caseload.
For a total of 33 confirmed cases since the start of this pandemic. Excuse me, please.
And she had to go cry. She had to go cry because of the cases. Oh my goodness. Let's look at some of the emails that came in. First of all, the term infected. Let's look at that because you're hearing this all over the place. Infected. Well, the media uses the term infected. Actually, is correct. Infected, and this is it's coming all from doctors and everyone who knows about this stuff. Most anonymous. The term infected doesn't mean the pathogen has entered your body necessarily or caused any disease. The word infected is being used properly, but the word case is not. When has anyone ever said someone had a case of X just because they had a pathogen responsible for the disease? For example, almost everyone has herpes simplex 1 or 2, but most people never have symptoms. We don't say those without symptoms have herpes, or hear them being discussed as cases. Generally, a case is something with clinical symptoms, and that's something that a doctor should be able to hear, feel, or see in a clinical setting. And so that's important because I thought infected was the wrong word, but cases is really the wrong word. And what's really interesting about cases, and what you will not hear, I've put a couple of charts in the show notes, noagendashow.com, noagendashow.net, and you'll probably want to use this for the newsletter. When you have such an explosive number of, quote, cases based upon the PCR process, the case fatality rate is 0.00001279 or something like that. And you don't hear the media talking about it. And it's very hard to find an actual chart of the case fatality rate. So how many people who are a case actually die? It's below zero. I mean, it's just above zero, but it's below the zero.
It brings people up from the dead.
I know, it's so good. Sorry about that. Jeff in Ohio got us a couple of PDFs. He went looking for the old WHO standards for the number of cycles that are recommended, and he went pretty far back. The oldest article he could find was 20 cycles versus the 45 that are being used currently. You see, apparently there was a vaccine court case, Snyder versus Sky of Health and Human Services. By convention, in this lawsuit, it says, he did some real research. No more than 40 to 45 PCR cycles should be run on any sample. In general, results at 35 cycles or below are acceptable. Results above 35 cycles can be cause for a concern. And on page 112 of this lawsuit regarding contamination, DNA contamination is the Achilles heel of PCR. Contamination is frequent even in the most compulsively monitored laboratories, which brings me to an email from Sir Jimmy V. Adam and John, I have a degree in biology. My partner is a PhD in criminology, and together we have been working with prisoners who claim their innocence. This is an old no agenda topic. When you hear it, reading forensic evidence in the courtroom, there's a phenomenon that we call the CSI effect, and we've talked about this many times. This is the instant results enhance TV magic that the jury has seen on shows like CSI and primes their thinking to believe as truth before they step into a courtroom. One area of forensics that is affected by the CSI effect is DNA evidence. People think that DNA is infallible and that when one's DNA is at a crime scene or on the murder weapon, it is an indication of guilt. However, misinterpreted DNA evidence has led to several wrongful convictions. And mainly, he says, it's secondary transfer or touch DNA, so two people picked up the same item. But he says laboratory contamination is a huge problem with DNA. Basically, the crime scene sample and comparison samples contaminate laboratory instruments, reagents, etc. This trace contamination is then amplified via PCR and test positive. And he has a whole list where you can see all this. So he's saying that that is the Achilles heel of any type of PCR process. Let's go to the chief medical examiner of Florida for several counties who would like to stay somewhat anonymous. Adam Ajanam, the chief medical examiner for 6 counties in Florida. During the beginning of all the COVID shenanigans, us medical examiners were responsible for signing all the death certificates for anyone who was positive for Rona RNA. I reviewed around 150 cases and signed the DCs personally on them. That's the death certificates. On Thursday's show, you were talking about the FDA and Rona testing, and you got most of all the PCR stuff correct. I want to point out some things I noticed when I was looking at all those tests. There are things on top of everything else that just produces bad data and has made me, chief medical examiner for 6 counties in Florida, even more frustrated. The tests are not actually approved by the FDA. Yes, this is a big one. A lot of people emailed this to me. Most of them are being allowed on an emergency basis. So the tests are given the 45 cycle count. It's in the document. It's in the FDA emergency use authorization. But the tests themselves and the reagents, as far as he knows, as far as I know, are not actually FDA approved, or have they been certified? And who knows if they even looked at them at all. The other thing he says, the tests are not all testing amplifying the same thing. Some of the tests are using a single strand of RNA, where others are using multiple strands. And among the different tests, they are not looking for the same strands. Confused? Well, he sent me a PDF with examples from different labs, which I'm not allowed to post because he just doesn't want that out there, because his name could be traced back to it. But it seems like this is all over the place. All over the place. Final one, Sir Don, PhD in analytical chemistry. How about our producers, John? I mean, we have chief medical examiners, PhD in analytical chemistry.
We have 800,000 people that download this show. It's astonishing, but out of a sample that size, which is the size of the entire city of San Francisco, actually about the same size, there will be a lot of skilled people that listen to the show.
Yeah.
And of course, it just builds on itself because they contribute to the show, because we're one of the few shows that actually rely on them. We don't encourage it. We rely on these people, and so their contribution to the show raises the level of listenership and producership. And so none of it surprises me. It surprises me that Trump doesn't listen to the show, but except for that.
That's what you say.
He's probably too low end.
Right. Adam and John, been listening to your PCR rant, was thinking, is this really 40 cycles they are running? For your information, I have a PhD in analytical chemistry, which means I focus on chemical measurements. I taught lab techs when I was in grad school, so I understand this stuff. I talked to a lab tech in a large Massachusetts testing lab who currently use PCR equipment from Cepheid, CEPHEID.com, and just purchased some new high-throughput PCR equipment from the Thermo Fisher utilizing 96 well-sample plates. He says, by the way, I used to work for them, but not in that area. Both machines use 45 cycles for the COVID test, which is allowed under the FDA emergency approval. And he has a link to it. Of course, we already have it in the show notes. And he says, so he has a link for the FDA approval. There are other kits out there as well, some from the USA, and some, he says, unbelievably from China. There are arguments, again, from a PhD in analytical chemistry. There are arguments that more than 29 cycles are not effective. And he has a link to an MIT study. But as always, there are varying opinions. It is true that with a large number of cycles, most quote over 45, you can get a lot of false positives. If you look at the MIT paper, you'll see that the initial cycles cause an exponential amplification, and then amplification tends to become linear or plateau, so additional cycles don't gain you much. It doesn't start to get into false positive regimen. My guess is because these, quote, tests, or this process, as you like to say, are generally under FDA emergency approval, they cranked it up because they don't know what the optimal conditions really are. Typical knee-jerk reaction. There's more in there. I posted his note. And let me see, is there any more we want to discuss? Just one more note from a good friend of mine who's a nurse, works in a nursing home here in Pennsylvania. She told me 5 of her colleagues tested positive for COVID using the government test kits they were sent to the facility. They all have serial numbers that have to be registered into the website the same day. The same nurses went to the nearby hospital to get tested, and all tests came back negative. So it's that kind of stuff.
Oh, no, they could have had it, and then they got over it in 5 minutes.
In just a couple seconds. It's crazy how that works.
That's what happened to Barron.
It is what happened to Barron. Barron's a young man, though, and 20 feet tall. So
forget about that.
So it seems like we're on the right track with this PCR process, and squarely looking at the FDA and the World Health Organization. The European Union also is using an emergency use authorization from the European Union's version of the FDA, and it's also a 45 cycle count. And any other note that I've gotten, which are usually very long, and they also are in the show notes, kind of all say the same, like, well, there's all kinds of margins, and it all comes down to, but yeah, it's probably too much 45 cycles. And there's no argument against the fact that it's just not a test. It's a process. So what is going on then? Is it?
Well, here's the question, bigger question. We've been through on this thing. We've been on this
long enough
for 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the real test?
Yeah, there is no real test.
Where is it? There's got to be.
No, there is no test. If they had a test, they would do it. There is no test. But that's not even the problem. It's not the test. No. Dr. Birx is back on the scene. Commander Inspector General Deborah Birx, and she knows what's really going on out there.
The coronavirus response coordinator, Dr. Deborah Birx, had this to say about combating this dangerous new surge we are now seeing. Listen to this.
It won't be as simple as closing public spaces, because public spaces, you can see, were very safe over the summer and probably remain safe. This is really something that has happened in the last 3 to 4 weeks, and what has happened in the last 3 to 4 weeks, it's gotten cooler, and people have moved their social gatherings indoors.
Oh, that's it. Okay. So when it was hot and we were indoors with air conditioner, that wasn't the problem. Now it's cooler, we're indoors, and now it's a problem. Okay.
It was 90 yesterday in much of California. I know what she's talking about.
Oh, it's chilly here. We had 56 yesterday. Very cold.
Oh, no.
I know. Hence the fire. Let's go back to the end of March, just to remind everybody, and this may come up in some of the debate coverage that we have. This is Dr. Deborah, Commander Inspector Birx, the end of March, regarding the models that the president talked about. And by the way, I don't buy any of this. But if you're going to go strictly by what they said, then the president is right.
Dr. Fauci said yesterday we could see millions of cases in this country and as many as 100,000 to 200,000 deaths. Do you agree with that analysis? Is that a worst case scenario or something that we should prepare ourselves that's potentially likely?
So in the flu models, the worst case scenario is between 1.6 million and 2.2 million deaths. That's the projection if you do nothing. So we've never really done all of these things that we're doing. We've put them into a model. We've looked at the Italy data with their self-isolation, and that's where we come up with, if we do things together well, almost perfectly, we could get in the range of 100,000 to 200,000 fatalities. We don't even want to see that.
I know, but you kind of take my breath away with that, because what I hear you saying is that's sort of the best case scenario. If everything works and people do the things you're asking them to do, maybe you can hold the deaths to 100,000 to 200,000 in this country.
Well, the best case scenario would be 100% of Americans doing precisely what is required.
Sounds to me like we did a pretty good job, according to the experts at the time. Instead of the 2 million, we got 100 to 200,000. Now, I think they were only talking about a short period. Here we are. What are we now? 9 months further. 9 months further.
It was supposed to end in Easter.
Yeah. Well, it might have, but we have all these cases.
It probably did, by the way.
And now we're back on the mask thing. Oh, it's got to be masks. Fauci.
It was a cultural tug of war over businesses and masks. Dr. Anthony Fauci suggesting it might be time to raise the stakes.
Well, if people are not wearing masks, then maybe we should be mandating it.
Oh, yeah, sure, Anthony. Let's mandate the masks. That's always a great
I think we should all go to a Scott Air Pack.
A what? A Scott Air Pack?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with this term.
This is the oxygen. You throw it over your head. You put a big mask on. You got 2 bottles of oxygen behind you. Air.
Oh, that's like
and
that.
And you wander around with a Scott Air Pack. Those are what you use in situations where where it's deadly outside.
Well, there's sad news because there is now evidence that there is a new problem when it comes to the spread of the deadly virus.
Everyone agrees. A dozen mayors from Big Ten towns wrote a letter to conference officials asking that guidelines be established for positivity rates in their communities.
What is your biggest fear when it comes to the return of Big Ten football?
In the community, we see tailgates, we see increased social gatherings, we see increased consumption of alcohol, and all of those behaviors have been attributed to an increased spread.
The conference.
Oh, alcohol. That's what's doing it. Yeah, you got the time to shut when we shut the alcohol, the stores, that's when the shit will really hit the fan. Looking at Ireland, we were wondering how it was going, and got one note from a producer who said, believe it or not, there's nowhere in Ireland that isn't within walking distance to a pub, and he says the pubs are open. This model, he says, has served the Irish well for 700 to 800 years. So as long as the pubs are open, they will be very, very compliant. Now I got a note from Danilo from Ireland, and Danilo writes, thanks for covering Ireland in yesterday's show. John mentioned whether people of Ireland will put up with these measures. And by the way, now it's to the point where I think you can't. They're doing the old, you can only buy stuff in the big box store, but you can't buy any non-essential items like a shirt. And those areas are now roped off. Remember they were doing that at Target here in the States? You couldn't buy lawn furniture.
Target.
Yeah. Well, you couldn't buy lawn furniture. It was something like that. It was something along those lines.
The outdoor gardening thing was shut down, but that was shut down at most Targets.
Right. Well, this is now.
Yeah, there were some that had some aspects of, but you could still go to Home Depot and buy that stuff. But you couldn't go to a small shop.
Right. Well, so now all the non-essential stuff is roped off.
Irish, because people like me probably complained. They say, they're catching us with the kind of we're miscommunicating, you know, we're screwing the little boutiques. We better cordon off these things over here at Walmart.
Which is exactly what was happening, of course.
It's nonsense.
Excuse me. Irish people are...
Let's stop that for a second. Just give it a little thought.
Okay.
You're in the big box store. You're inside. And then they rope off some clothing items because of why?
Sadism.
Because if you go and buy that clothing item, it's going to spread the disease. You're already in the big box store with your mask on.
It can only be purely sadistic. I don't see any reason for it.
Oh, you nailed it.
Yeah.
It's purely sadistic.
Couldn't be anything else. It makes no sense. 0 sense. Irish people are generally passive and don't really stand up for their rights, Danilo carries on here. The majority of the...
Is he Irish or is he British?
Irish. I don't know if Danilo male or female. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
Irish people are generally passive and don't really stand up for their rights. The majority of the population still watch the national news every night on a station called RTE, which is state-run, basically a propaganda arm for the government. Yes, we know. It's your version of the BBC. Each night, the 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. news covers the daily PCR results designed to inflict fear amongst the people. It's worked. Most people are afraid of the virus, and many welcome the new lockdown measures. We're not even allowed to protest under the current regulations, which is the same now for Australia as well. 11 people were arrested yesterday at a protest in Dublin because they refused to disperse when ordered to do so by the police. I fear for the future of my country. Best regards, Danilo. To which I said, where the hell is Bono in all this? Where is our savior Bono? Shouldn't he be calming the people? And I mean, he was out on every other issue. Bono's around. Oh my goodness. If we're going to die from climate change, Bono's right there. But he's MIA now.
He'll be back.
Welsh lockdown. There they also have the Welsh government have put the whole country into lockdown. Bizarre twists. Also, no one's allowed to buy non-essential items. No parts for your bicycle if you need it. I don't know why you would need that, but possible. Let's see. Do we have anything else? Oh, yes.
Pathetic.
The ICU scam is on the rise again. People, we've been through this before. They will tell you that the ICU beds are full. They're full. They're full. Oh, my God, we're running out of ICU beds. That's only half of the story. They're talking about ICUs reserved for COVID, which is typically 10 to 15% of all the ICU beds. And also know that they run the ICUs, they run hospitals like airlines. Fill up as many beds as possible. Don't have too many beds available.
How many times do we have to keep saying this?
As many times as it take. I don't mind. But they're going to keep doing it. They're going to keep scaring you or trying to scare you with all this noise about the ICU beds. And you can see it on Twitter. Whenever we post something that's funny or that accentuates a point I've made, people are coming back with, you know what you're talking about, man. The ICU bed. Will you tell me these people aren't sick with ICU bed? It's very, very tiring. Also,
that's a good reason to be off Twitter.
Well, that's my news channel. That's all I got left. I don't have any other social meds except for no one's into social. Shep Smith, of course, is back on the airwaves. He's over at CNBC. He's on late. He's on it.
Jeff Smith, the jingle guy?
Shep Smith, the former Fox
NBC
guy.
does this. NBC's, their modus operandi is to steal somebody away from Fox. It's like almost like a government op. They steal somebody away from Fox and they put him into some slot that's no good or some situation that they're going to get fired. But they gave him a potload of money to quit, but it's still probably not as much as they'd made if they'd stayed. Ooh, nice rhyme.
Very good.
And they'll drop him someplace like this until they get fed up and realize they've been had, like Megyn Kelly did, finally.
Who, thanks for introducing me to her podcast. Holy crap, she's great on the podcast.
Yes, she is very professional, but she's a natural podcaster.
She is, and now that she has no restrictions and has no... Megyn Kelly has a very nice slot.
What to do.
She has no restrictions. Yeah, she's actually damn good. Very much appreciated. Here's Shep Smith. We'll check in, see what he's doing on his brand new show on CNBC.
This is researchers at the University of Washington are releasing a grim new projection. Their model estimates the United States could see nearly 500,000 deaths by February. That is, if states ease more restrictions. That's the red line you see there shooting north. It's the worst case scenario. 500,000 Americans dead. But if 95% of us will wear our masks all the time, the model shows deaths could be much less. You see that clearly from the yellow line down there at the bottom. Right now, the researchers predict we're on track to hit more than 385,000 deaths by February.
So he's got his models out, and it's like, oh boy, if we wear a mask, then less of you will die, and it's all projection. We should believe these models by now. Checking in with the ultra-Orthodox Jews in New York. What do you get when you put 10 ultra-Orthodox Jews into a house in Brooklyn? Well, you get a visit from the police.
Right. You have a noise complaint. You stop after breathing in my face. I'm the one wearing a mask. You have a glove. You have a face mask. What do you care? I'm talking to the owner here. But we had a complaint about vehicle parking in the front. Then I look up and you have over 10 people in a crowd. So what? Now it's an issue, okay? What is the issue?
It's an issue.
The issue is
You're Jewish.
This is not a party. There's no music. This is simply a simple thing. They have a few friends together. What is the issue that you need supposed to come into my house and tell me that it's okay for a police officer to walk into my house and say it's okay? When you are the police officer, you know the laws, you know the rules. You can't walk into my house and tell me that it's okay. If you would have been a normal person, you would have walked out and said, okay, can I talk to you? Fine, I can listen to you. Instead, you just backing that up again and again. We're past that. We're past that point.
Oh, we're past that point now. Man, poor cops. Why they get
sending? Hey, it's De Blasio's town. They should be sending in the social workers.
Yes, we're the social workers.
Why are the cops responsible? They shouldn't be involved in this.
Did they defund the police and not give any money to the social workers?
Social workers. They should send the social workers over to there.
It's baffling. It's baffling. I have no idea.
Do it right.
I have no idea why they can't just do it right. Exactly. As we are getting ready. Of course, everyone is waiting for the vaccine, because the vaccine, that will really end it all. The vaccine will save us all, unless you live in Korea.
Calls to halt the free flu vaccination program in South Korea are growing, as suspected deaths have now piled up to more than 30. But authorities are refusing to suspend it, citing no evidence for a direct link. Investigations into a number of the deaths have ruled out links to the flu shot, including the country's first reported victim, a 17-year-old boy. But as public concerns mount, the Prime Minister has also called for a more thorough investigation to verify the exact cause of deaths. Some local governments across the country have voluntarily advised residents against taking the flu shot. But officials say they should not make such decisions without consulting with health authorities. It's not the first time the program comes under fire. It's been controversial since last month. The campaign had been paused for 3 weeks after millions of doses of the vaccine were found to be mishandled. The scheme was expanded to vaccinate 30 million people this year to ward off a potential twindemic of the influenza and COVID-19 this winter. Yep. Some 10 million people have already taken the flu shot.
So just so you know, I don't think any vaccine is completely free of killing people. There's always people who die from vaccines, but there's now going to be this super lens on it, just like we're all super focused on the COVIDs, which doesn't deserve that much focus unless you're part of the Great Reset. And now is the time to start paying attention, because as we get close to this election, and I said it before, if Joe Biden wins, we are in Build Back Better land for the rest of our days, or at least for 4 years. Everybody's ready. They're circling around. Time Magazine, front cover, The Great Reset, How to Build a Better World Post-COVID-19. Time Magazine on the front cover. And no one cares about it, but...
Well, of course, it's a dubious
It's a globalist magazine, yes, of course.
And that was the international edition. It wasn't the U.S. edition.
Well, no, we're not going to tip our hat. We need Joe to win first. I mean, President Harris. The COVID-19 pandemic has provided a unique opportunity to think about the kind of future we want. Time partnered with the World Economic Forum to ask leading thinkers to share their ideas on how to transform the way we live and work. And to me, it's just baffling that we listen to a shitty programmer and we listen to these douchebag bankers and take our life advice from them. Screw these people. It's horrible. But if you look at the lockdowns, if you look at the Great Reset and the documents, we're pretty much in lockstep. It's pretty much where we were supposed to be according to this entire rollout. And now we see even UPS posted on their website today, COVID-19's legacy. This is how to get the Great Reset right. UPS. What is going on?
UPS, the brown shipping company?
Yes, the brown shirt shipping. Well, that may be your answer. The brown shirt shipping company.
You walked right into it.
On an individual basis, for many, life as they've always known it is unraveling at alarming speed. This said, acute crises favor introspection and foster the potential for transformation. Yes, Here's a supercut.
We're going to a different place, which is a new normal.
A new normal.
A new normal.
A new normal. A new normal.
New normal. Embrace the new normal.
The new normal.
The new normal?
The new normal.
New normal. This new normal is going to look very, very different.
Not normal, but a new normal. The new normal.
New normal. There will be a new normal.
A new normal. New normal. A new normal.
The new normal.
A new normal.
This is the new normal.
This is our new normal.
Our new normal.
A new normal.
Our new normal. New normal. The new normal.
Our new normal.
We will transition into the new normal. This will be the new normal until a vaccine is developed.
Woo! That's right. Your favorites. It's all your hits in one.
Well, I have a couple of things. And I think you've missed the whole point here.
Oh, okay. I've missed it. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you have.
All
and
right.
you know why? Because you didn't blame Trump. And
I am such a bad man.
Orange!
You're correct. Doesn't that lead into the Build Back Better by blaming this on Trump, and we can build back better post Orange?
Oh.
Ooh.
That's a show title.
Post Orange?
Post Orange.
Post Orange.
Wow.
Hey. Some people get up in the morning and make hit records. I make show titles.
So here we go with, this is on Democracy Now!, and we're going to bring in a new report and a nice slam and a really shameless report, a dishonest report from Amy and her guest, Ali Khan, former head of the CDC, who was one of those guys, you don't have to do this. The guy that they got running it today, the CDC guy, he doesn't do this. This Redfield.
No.
Which is wear the military uniform. Whether you've been in the military or not. You get to wear a uniform,
Yes.
scramble legs, the whole thing. And that's what this guy, Ali Khan, used to do. He's over at Nebraska now, and he's going to tell us, kind of give us a different look at things, and then discuss a report that came out of Columbia. This is Ali Khan, 300,000 actually dead. The end.
We are joined by Dr. Ali Khan. He is an epidemiologist and the Dean of the College of Public Health at the University of Nebraska Medical Center. He's the former director of the CDC's Office of Public Health Preparedness and Response, where he oversaw the Strategic National Stockpile. He's joining us from Omaha, Nebraska. Nebraska is one of 7 states now seeing a record level of COVID hospitalizations. Dr. Ali Khan, welcome to Democracy Now! Can you respond to that last comment of President Trump's, as he says he is not responsible for this?
So good morning, Amy, and thank you very much for the opportunity to join you this morning. Before I respond to the last comment, let's step back a little bit and think how unusual this would be if we replaced COVID with polio or cholera or dysentery. That we would
Excuse me, ma'am, that's like a false equivalency?
have a presidential debate and 2 different opposing political opinions about a disease that's the 3rd leading cause of death in America now that was unknown 10 months ago, and we would be having a debate on whether or not it's killing people and how it's killing people. It's unimaginable if you just replace COVID with anything else, but that's essentially what's happening. And what COVID has done very effectively is it has taken advantage of every splinter in our society. First, in terms of biologically, elderly males we know are at higher risk. Then social politically, economically, it's extremely unfortunate what's going on in America with it's 300,000 deaths right now.
Explain what you mean by 300,000 deaths.
So the 220,000 deaths that are reported are an underreport of deaths. And what you really need to look at, in addition to the actual individual cases that are reported, is excess deaths. And CDC has recently done a very nice analysis of looking at all excess deaths. So these are people who would not have died.
So just one observation. He keeps bringing in these other diseases. Is he, in effect, saying, imagine if COVID was real? Is that what he's saying? Imagine if it was a real disease, or am I mishearing that?
Wow. I didn't hear it that way, but that's an interesting interpretation, because he might just be saying that subconsciously.
Yeah.
Imagine if it was polio.
Yeah. It's like, well, okay.
Real disease.
Real disease. Something that could really fuck you up. That's very odd.
And I found that whole analogy to be incredibly weird. But that's not as weird as what's about to come up.
Great.
Can you respond?
So we have 300,000 dead, according to this guy, who's and let me just mention, major Democrat supporter. I looked him up in Open Secrets.
Uh-huh.
He's there. Everybody who runs for Congress who's a Democrat, he's there supporting him. There's no 200, 400, 500, $600 a pop.
Uh-huh.
So he's, decidedly one-sided on this. This was never brought out, of course, but nothing like what you're about to hear in part 2.
Can you respond to the Columbia University report that just came out, the study where researchers blasted the Trump administration over its disastrous handling of the pandemic? The authors write, we estimate at least 130,000 deaths, perhaps as many as 210,000, could have been avoided with earlier policy interventions and more robust federal coordination and leadership, even with the dramatic recent appearance of new COVID-19 waves globally. Abject failures of U.S. government policies and crisis messaging persist. Talk about what this means, what Trump did and didn't do, as he talks about how well he dealt with the pandemic.
So, Amy, this paper that came out of Columbia University by Dr. Urban Redletter really puts estimates on how many people have unnecessarily died of this disease, and it tries to estimate those preventable deaths. So it's always good. I appreciate American exceptionalism, but you just need to go look at what's going on in the rest of the world. China, 0 deaths. Their economy in the third quarter increased 4.9%. Okay? And it's not just China. New Zealand, Taiwan, Singapore, Uruguay, Uzbekistan. I can go on and on all over the world were countries where they had a robust public health strategy to decrease cases in their countries, and they are down to 0 to no cases.
Oh, man. First of all, ship this guy to any of those countries. Bye-bye.
Well, let's go to the basics of this complaint of his. So I looked up the guy who did the report, Erwin Redlener.
Mm-hmm.
Erwin Redlener. Now, according to this report, we have 220,000 dead, but there could have been only 210,000 of them are unnecessary. We only could have had 10,000 dead, according to this report, according to what he just said. You heard those numbers?
Yes, I did.
Which makes no sense whatsoever. But what's really funny, it makes it even more humorous, is that Redlener let me read from the wiki page. Redlener is the special advisor to New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio, with a focus on emergency management and planning to support advised administration citywide disaster preparedness.
Excellent.
Let me tell you something else about this guy. Redlener, if anyone remember Elian Gonzalez, where they stuck a gun in his face?
Yeah, in Florida, the Cuban kid. Yeah.
Who was behind him getting picked up and sent back to Cuba?
This guy?
This guy.
Really?
Yep.
So, wait a minute.
In April 2000, Redlener was engaged by INS Commissioner Doris Mesner to provide strategic guidance regarding the management of the Elian Gonzalez case.
Okay, so
he claimed in a letter to the INS that based on weeks of studying the case, including a propaganda 40-second video of 7-year-old Elian, which apparently came in from Cuba, is now in a state of imminent danger staying in the United States.
I remember
He urged that the government immediately remove the horrendously exploited Elian.
This guy is a political jackal.
Oh, wait.
But there's more.
Let's go to opensecrets.org.
Oh.
Holy moly. Look this guy up. He gives to everybody $1,000 to Tom Harkin, $250 to Eric Massa, the Democrat, Hillary, $500, Hillary, $2,700, Hillary, $2,700, Jose Serrano, Debbie Stabenow, what's he got to do with her? Another $225 to Hillary, another $2,700 to Hillary. It's unbelievable. Page after, but this guy is a stooge. It was a misrepresentation to even discuss this report. Amy brought it up. It's dishonest reporting. It's shameless. She should be ashamed of herself. She should take her own show off the air for leaving this kind of pertinent information completely off the presentation. I was disgusted when I looked this guy up.
John C. Dvorak's Pet Peeve of the Day.
Wow. I mean, you don't get a pet peeve often.
Well, that was a classic. I've never seen anything like this. And then with this Ali Khan guy, another stooge from the Obama administration. Oh, yeah. Let's take a bunch of Trump haters and then read the report. Hey, guess what it says? Trump sucks. Oh.
What? That's in the report? My goodness, that's very interesting. What is this guy's background, though?
Oh, they're both, background. What's their background? They're Democrats.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I got their background.
Well, I'm
well educated. Yeah. Ali Khan, for example, got a doctor from State University of New York, Medical Center in Brooklyn, completed a joint resident program. And it's just regular doctors that happen to be politically engaged. Got involved in the government.
You know, the reason this podcast exists, well, is because we're patently unhireable. But the reason it exists is to deconstruct the media. And, you know, this has been the banner year. I mean, you cannot get any better just when it comes to how dishonest and propagandistic all media has been, all of it. And now it's just the masks are off. They don't care anymore. And I think they really believe they're on the winning tip. They're smoking their own dope when it comes to Biden.
Oh, yeah. I think that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
They're cocky.
Bannon's guy, the billionaire, the anti-CCP billionaire who was financing all Bannon does, he did a speech at the press club in Chinese, or Mandarin, so it doesn't make any sense to play any clips. But in that, he says, China is coming for America, and they have 2 plans to do it. And this is all the information I have. Plan 1 is called the BGY plan, and 3F is the other plan. Don't know what it means, but
it would be nice to know. Bring your own beer. The Chinese are coming in with their own beer.
No, it's BGY.
Bring guns.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bring guns, you.
This is the guy who I believe is also behind the Hunter Biden laptop, which, oh my goodness, I've seen some of the pictures and video.
What?
Yeah, oh yeah. It's been out.
Thanks for sharing.
You know, you don't even want me to talk about a zit on the show, so share.
Specifically pus.
This comes from the OAN cutie. What's her name? Chantal or Crystal?
The one with the brunette.
Yes, and with the olive skin. And
she's top. She's an unbelievably good-looking woman.
But the hair bothers me. It's a little too much. She could do with a little less poof. That's just me as a hair person. So she confirms, and I have seen this and some of the videos. She confirms that the 14-year-old in some of the photos and videos on the hard drive, Hunter Biden hard drive, are in fact Natalie Biden.
This is not just any underage girl. This is a family member, and there were several figures that we have seen on this hard drive who have questionable ages, but none of them could be verified as far as who they are, except this one, and that's Natalie Biden. She is the niece of Hunter Biden, and the pictures depict her in ways that are very questionable enough that
topless.
We here at OAN submitted a request to the Newcastle County Police Department in Delaware, and we asked if they had received any notes of concern about the images that were found on these hard drives, on this laptop, concerning Natalie Biden, who was 14 years old at the time. I cannot go into too much detail as to what the pictures actually depict, but they're enough that we know for sure she was 14 years old at the time because there's date stamps on these pictures. This is around the time that Hunter Biden was spending time around not only Natalie, but her mom, who he was carrying on a romantic affair with at the time. This is the wife of the dead brother, Beau. Very uncomfortable pictures, Kara. So we had, images of Natalie being horizontal. I'm trying to be as delicate as I can, but being horizontal with Hunter. You have pictures of Hunter without his shirt on in some of the scenes. We have records of FaceTime calls from Hunter to Natalie and Natalie to Hunter. So there's some very questionable things in there, enough that we sent in a request to the authorities to see if anybody raised alarms about these pictures once they had them in their hands.
So his dead brother's wife and daughter.
Talk about an October surprise. They've got 2 weeks to cover this up.
No, they're working very hard on it. And
they're not saying anything. The mainstream media should be ashamed of itself.
There's one video, just to give you an idea of how gone this guy was. But this
is lurid. Before you go on in any more of the discussing this, I should also mention, by the way, that blonde you hated on OAN, she's out.
Really? What happened to her? I didn't want her to get fired.
I think she quit or something. She's going to be a podcaster.
Oh, well, hey, it's where all the best go. So we welcome her with open arms, as long as I don't have to look at her. And she needs to tone down the attitude, because she was annoying. Sorry to hear that. I don't want anyone to get fired. But
but besides the fact that the mainstream's they're going to try to suppress this information, it's not going to get suppressed for very long. And I'm wondering, and I think you brought this up once, is it possible that this is really that the stupidity of letting this laptop with all these videos and images and stuff out of your sight and giving it to a repair shop for any reason whatsoever is really a subconscious cry for help from daddy? Where Hunter's really, he's a cokehead anyway.
Yeah.
And he never got the attention that the great Beau Biden, the greatest kid ever, got. That this is like really one of these family things that people can never fully understand, but happen.
But I think it may be the 14-year-old. I think she may be the one that somehow got this news out. It's hard to tell. I mean, there are people going through all these emails and pictures. I just wanted to mention one video that I saw. 15 minutes. And and he's in a hotel room, I think. It's hard to tell. And he's receiving oral sex. He's on his back. He's watching Stephen Colbert. It's on.
Oh, no!
Yeah, he's watching Stephen Colbert.
How can Colbert not bring this up on the show?
But it goes on for 15 minutes. So he's clearly on Viagra or something. Clearly. He's smoking his crack or meth or whatever it is. And he's
got a glass crack pipe?
Yep, and he's taking pictures down under his crotch where this girl is going to town on him. He's taking videos. This real depravity that I see. And nothing is shocking. I don't care if he smokes dope. The most offensive thing is he's watching Stephen Colbert. But he, oral sex, fine. But just the combination, and for 15 minutes, and nothing happens. Ugh. It's just, the whole thing is just, and then he's videotaping it on his laptop.
He's taping it. How is he doing this? Is he using the laptop camera?
Yeah, he's using the laptop camera, and then he's using his iPhone.
Why is he videotaping this?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's because, when you're a drug addict, you really aren't using your senses. So, there's a whole bunch of things you will do wrong, like dropping your laptop off and stuff. So, anyway, So the big story, as Matt Taibbi wrote, he wrote a pretty good essay about it. Even though if they really knew it was what if they could bring themselves to believe the information that's being uncovered and published, which they don't, I think a lot of journalists go, I just don't want to see it. The fact that this...
What kind of journalist is this? This is the same kind of journalist that said, WikiLeaks, I don't want to go there. I might find something out.
Well, exactly. That's Chris Cuomo. I mean, these are the journalists. You know, they're not journalists, obviously, or they're not performing their function properly. They have no innate or inherent curiosity. But the BBC, and you may have seen a snippet of this. I waited until I could get a full clip out of it. They have the media show, and on this was Susan Ferricchio of the Washington Examiner, and she was going head-to-head with Brian Seltzerwater from CNN about this very topic, about the Twitter censorship. And I believe the New York Post Twitter account is still locked. I don't think they've been able to post at all since that happened. And it was an interesting exchange. And you hear, now, Brian Seltzer considers himself to be a journalist and an author and an investigative journalist. And this is the drivel that passes for journalism.
There is anything real in them.
Yeah, but that didn't stop any from reporting the Mueller and the dossier and all that stuff.
You're bitter. I understand that you have a lot of resentment about this.
Now we have ethics. Okay, now we have ethics.
Don't you dare act like newsrooms didn't have ethics in 2017 and 2018.
Well, I know they did. Well, you can don't dare me all you want, Brian. I've been doing this for 30 years. So say whatever you want. It's my view, and I have a right to say it.
So your view is that the news media was unethical with Mueller?
Hang on, say one at a time. I don't quite.
It's my view.
Let me bring in Sarah Fisher, and then I want to move on to Google briefly. But go on, Sarah.
I think this conversation is so critical, even though it can get tense. It's actually a matter of, can you have two things be true at once? Can you have a story that needs scrutiny from all outlets because we don't know whether or not it's true, right? Axios, we're all trying to figure out whether or not the story is true, and we deserve to do that. But we also need to think about the bigger picture, which is, God forbid, this story was tied to some sort of bigger disinformation effort to penetrate our elections. We also need to consider that. And that's why I think it's critical that you're not just seeing, you got to see the forest through the trees. You got to look at this particular story about the Hunter Biden.
Yeah, but no one looked through the forest through the trees with the president. I mean, it's always one-sided. Now it's time to look at the forest. All I'm saying is let's do it universally, okay? I didn't discard the Mueller stuff. I was much more skeptical because I knew the sourcing, and I knew where I came from on Capitol Hill, where I have stood in the building for the past few decades. I had real reason to doubt that stuff, and I constantly did. And it turned out a lot of it was a bunch of bunk. So
when you say Mueller stuff, there are people in prison.
That skepticism. We have to. Even now with the Biden stuff. Let's use the skepticism, but don't ignore it.
Okay, Susan, let's just Brian come back in this, and then I'm going to ask Tony to help us through the Google case. Brian, go ahead.
I agree with you. It should not be ignored, but I think there's a difference between reporters looking into it in their newsrooms versus going on the air with it when it's unvetted. And what we're in right now is
break. You never did that with Trump stuff. That's just BS.
Hang on a second, Susan. Go ahead, Brian.
Whatever.
Susan has no idea how this newsroom operates.
If you both speak, we can't hear either of you. Brian, go ahead.
I understand. Let me just say briefly, it's grievance politics. It comes from the right. It happens every day. Newsrooms in America are very careful about this stuff. I know viewers and readers don't see it, but it happens every day. Slow, cautious vetting happens every day.
Bullshit. Sure, Seltzerwater. Slow, cautious vetting happens every day in newsrooms all across America.
Yeah, so this is put Schiff on.
Let's go to another news outlet, The Verge cast. Nilay Patel, a lawyer, and the way they're covering the story is about Section 230. Section 230, which clearly was violated. You cannot editorialize what you have on your open storage platform under Section 230. This is now going to be a subject of a hearing and subpoenas on the 28th, and Zuckerberg and Dorsey have been called to come in and talk about it. I'm pretty sure it'll suck because these things always suck. Nothing ever gets accomplished. But okay, at least they're pretending to put on some kind of show trial. But how does The Verge cover this? That one of the oldest news organizations in the United States was subverted their reporting, locked out from the public commons, which is how you get the protection under Section 230. And just for...
You're talking about the Post.
The Post, yeah. Just for context, when it comes to social networks. We have noagendasocial.com. Anybody can post on there. I don't delete stuff. I don't block people. I don't put messages on anything.
You don't block people?
No. And therefore, we have protection under the law that anything anyone says there, we can't be sued over it. Our good dude named Ben, who runs the server, can't be sued over it. That's an important. It's an important
you mean you don't
law.
universally block people? Because I block people constantly.
No, as the administrator of the site, I don't block people from doing anything. And because we don't have algos, it doesn't really matter. People just ignore those people, and you can block them or silence them yourself. But let's listen to the Verge cast, because you'd think they'd be all over this story. And my goodness, this is about freedom of the press.
One more thing I want to talk about with you before I take a break and bring on Josh to talk about Foxconn. There's just 230 noise in the world as usual. The Senate has subpoenaed Jack Dorsey and Zuckerberg. Twitter released a feature that House GOP is very mad about Twitter asking you to read the article, which is very funny in like a 2001 Slashdot way. Like, Twitter's like, read the fucking article, and then like the government is mad about that, which is incredible.
Yeah, poor Twitter.
What is the current state of just like 230 in content moderation noise?
So the state of 230 is that I believe there was another new bill this week that we didn't even get into or talk about, and that the FCC has decided to move forward with that really bizarre plan that Trump has been trying to push since like earlier this year, where they, quote, clarify Section 230 by completely rewriting it. And the interpretation is, look, still, you probably can't do that, and they haven't really moved on it yet, but it's all because everyone's really mad at Twitter for blocking that link last week to the New York Post story.
Right. The way I hear this is they're a bunch of douchebags. Oh, it's just 230 noise and blah, blah, blah. They're not serious about any of it.
I don't know what they're thinking.
It's the most spammy site in the universe. You know, dudes named Ben, when they want to test how well their browser's working, for rendering.
Yeah.
They go to The Verge. So there's so many trackers and so much crap. That will sync your processor, spike your processor.
Go to The Verge, you're going to have a lot of spyware installed.
Go to The Verge without any protection. It's a very, very dirty site. Very, very dirty.
Every time I go there, I Spy Hunter 2 or 3 or 4
flips out.
They just go, oh man, I got to take all these cookies that you put on there, all tracking cookies, with millions of them.
Yeah. I'm a little concerned, and I'd like to get into the debate, since I have a few short clips, and as usual, you always do a great job of running down how this went. But the concern I have...
I have no clips from the debates.
Oh, I've got all kinds of ISOs.
Oh, I've got it. Yeah. Well, there's yeah. I mean, I actually track post-debate stuff more.
Oh, of course. No, I understand. I have one post-debate thing as well. The concern I have, though, first of all, I have been replying stop to all the text messages. It was out of control. I think I've got the Democrats stopped, because, you get a text message, you reply with stop, and then it says, oh, okay, to unstop, literally, to unstop, just text start. So the official Trump number is, I think, 8022 or 880?
Are you talking about text messages on your phone?
On my phone, yes, on my phone. Huh. Remember, I donated to both campaigns so I could get all of
so you'll get a lot of crap.
So, and it got to be so much that I just kept saying stop, but then I get all these, and it doesn't stop. So here's another one from number 571-487-7784. Lindsey Graham, this is bad. We're being outraised and outspent 2-1. Our Senate majority is on the line. And here comes the problem. Chip in now. They're using chip in.
Lindsey Graham uses it a lot.
No, I think because here, I'm going to reply stop to this one. I have maybe 75 different numbers I've had to say stop to. And they just switch to a different number and start sending this crap again. It's annoying. It is the Republican Party. You suck. It's invasive. I can't get away from it. And it's insulting that you asked me to chip in. And I think they're in trouble with that. And they may have gone off and hired some of these some of these companies,
the consultants.
Yeah, they've hired the Democrat consultants, which shows they're stupid. But this isn't Trump anymore. Trump gave my number to the Trump campaign gave my number to the GOP, and they've just been flooding me, and it's a turnoff, especially when you give me the chip in.
Now, the Lindsey Graham should take some of that money that he is getting and buy a microphone. I don't know if you've seen this, but he got a bunch of pre-rolls on YouTube, like lots of them.
Oh, really? No.
And he sounds like he's in a bucket. I mean, can anyone mic this guy?
Do you have an example? Do we have any
I know. Audio? I never thought to grab one of them, but I'll grab one. You know, there'll be what should be one or two more thrown in my face. The problem with this is kind of interesting. With certain pre-rolls on YouTube, you can't pause them. You just can't pause them.
I know. Even with a blocker, then I get a black page that says blocked, and then it'll refresh, and he does it 3 times in a row, and then you finally get the video. If you turn off the blocker, you just keep getting commercial after commercial. You can't sometimes get out of the loop.
Well, they can give you the ends in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, skip ad. You can get that, and then you can skip the ad, but you can't stop a lot of. I've never run into most of the ads. I don't know if it's true with all of them, but most of the ads you can't stop. So I can't stop the Lindsey Graham ad to turn on a capture device because the thing runs through the whole ad before I get the thing loaded.
Here's my trick: if it's something controversial and it's on YouTube, I just go over to BitChute and do a search, and it's there.
BitChute. I won't get the Lindsey Graham ad.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, there are downsides. I know if you're really jonesing for some Lindsey, for some Lady G.
I wanted to get you. You asked me if I had a clip. I'm telling you why I never got the clip.
I understand. I understand.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like this. Hi, I'm Lindsey Graham, and I'm looking for your help because I'm being outspent. I'm being outspent by the competition. I'm going to be out of here. I mean, come on.
Lady G. There's a term I want us to be on the lookout for, and I don't. Well, I know where it comes from. The term is the inside straight, and it's being used in relation to the path to 270 electoral college votes that President Trump needs for re-election. And it goes something like this: in 2016, his chances of winning the election were those of drawing an inside straight. The question is whether this year he can draw an inside straight 2 hands in a row. I'm not a card player, but I need to understand why they're using this term, the inside straight.
Well, I know what it means if you want to know.
Yeah, of course I do.
Oh, you don't know?
No, that's why I'm asking you.
You got a card. It's 5. You're playing poker. You got 5 cards.
Yeah.
You have a 2, a 3, a 5, and a 6, and an ace. You throw the ace away. Well, no, you wouldn't throw the ace away in this case. Well, yeah, you could. You could keep the ace and throw the ace away.
So far, you're confusing
You got to throw a card away.
Yes.
Okay, let's start over again.
Yeah,
you got a 3, a 4, a 6, and a 7, and I don't know, a jack. You got to throw the jack away because you want to draw.
We want a 5.
You want a 5. You want a 2, 3, 4, 5. You want the straight. So there's a card in the middle that's missing. Well, it's not 2 cards at either end that are missing, which is, trying to get a straight that way. That's easy. Well, it's not that easy, but it's easy. But to draw 1 card, in other words, you have to draw. In other words, you need a 5. There's only 4 of those in the deck, and you have to draw one of them somehow. That's very hard to do. So only a moron draws for it to an inside. Draws for an inside to make an inside straight that draws for an inside straight.
Okay,
it's dumb.
Okay, so what they're saying is orange man moron.
No, they're not saying he's a moron. He says the likelihood of him doing it twice in a row is 0.
Okay.
They're just saying the odds against Trump winning again does not exist, and it's drawing an inside straight. Drawing to an inside straight. It's not possible. He can't do it twice. Nobody playing poker could do that maneuver twice in a row and to make it work. It's not possible. So what all they're doing is exhibiting the fact that they're so confident. Not that they weren't confident last time with the New York Times saying that Hillary had 95% chance of winning. Just worse this time. Just like worse.
Crazy. Well, I think President
Trump. Straight, by the way, is Texas. That's your card.
Oh well, I think the president will draw the inside straight, and it will be an ace of spades. As black men...
Ace of spades can never be an inside straight.
I'm just using the analogy for straight-up brave black men who are now standing up everywhere and saying, nah, I don't think we're going to go with Joe Biden. May not vote at all, and the biggest controversy has to be Ice Cube. I don't know if you followed any of this.
Oh, yeah, I've been following this. This is really funny.
So here's Don Lemon reacting to Ice Cube, who had an interview with Chris Cuomo.
So, the black thing. Here's the problem with that. I understand what he's saying about black people and about descendants of slaves. Again, be careful who you align yourself with, because this ADOS, African descendants of slaves...
Okay. I don't want to say too much. I think Don Lemon is ADOS, not ADOS, ADOS.
I like ADOS.
But he also...
This is what they used to call the DOS operating system.
DOS. He also says African descendants of slaves, and it truly means American descendants of slavery. But okay, he pretends not to know what it is what I'm saying.
African descendants
Yes, he's a dick. He's a complete idiot. Listen to this.
I understand what he's saying about black people and about descendants of slaves. Again, be careful who you align yourself with, because this ADOS, African descendants of slaves...
Which is completely wrong. But also, I think it's one of, like Scott Adams did. What's that show Adam and John do? It's kind of like a put down on purpose.
Oh, you think that's what you really think that?
What, Scott Adams?
No, Scott Adams did that.
Yeah.
But
I totally think that. Don Lemon knows what's going on. He knows what's going on.
Okay.
Just listen to the rest of this.
So he's just being insulted.
A lot of Russian bots, a lot of bots online.
So now, and this is how I got interested in this when Joy Reid was saying, oh, no, this ADOS, the ADOS is Russian bots. He's repeating this now. And after, come on. Clearly, unless I'm a Russian bot, which is possible, it's just bull crap.
Targeting, doing the dirty work of Russia for that. And to discriminate, I think, again, it's okay to point out that you're a descendant of slave. Don't get me wrong. That's fine. And some people are not. And that doesn't make one person less or more black than another person. But to discriminate against...
Does anybody else ever get to talk with this guy?
With Don Lemon? Yes, Oprah. Actually, Mo did a big deconstruction of that, which I'm not going to play, where it's basically Oprah who you're hearing talking now, because Oprah called up Don and said, hey, here's what you're going to have to do.
Wanted to say, well, we just want this because we are black in this way, I think is discriminatory, because people of color, there's power in numbers. It should be, there's nothing wrong with having a plan for black America and not just black Americans who are descendants of slaves.
And this is exactly what Ice Cube was doing. Ice Cube said, and he's used the ADOS word in several interviews, he said, no, this has to be specifically for us that we need something. And immediately, the takedown started to come. It's like, oh, what are you aligning with Trump? And as it turns out, no, he went with his contract for Black America to the Biden campaign and went to the Trump campaign. And the Trump campaign said, interesting. Okay, we'll put a couple things in our plan and we'll call it platinum. Thinking that would work. Call it platinum. They love the platinum. And the Biden-Harris camp said, after we win, we'll have power, which is exactly the problem. ADOS is tired of hearing, after we win and have power. After
Don't
we
worry
win,
about it. We'll take care of you.
We'll take care of you after the fact. This is Ice Cube clearing that misconception up.
Have you decided how you're going to vote November 3rd?
Oh, by the way, this is, I think this may be the Breakfast Club morning radio show. Just listen to how this guy positions everything towards Ice Cube and against Trump.
Have you decided how you're going to vote November 3rd?
I actually haven't. It's I'm going to vote because there's a lot of things to vote for, in California, up and down, our city and state. But I just, I'm a real, true undecided voter, because they're not doing enough.
And the white supremacy alignment of Donald Trump and the people he has working for him who are overt white supremacists.
Wow.
Do you want to support the overtly white supremacists or the covertly ones?
Look, racism comes in many forms, but overt white supremacy, that doesn't put you off in potentially supporting Donald Trump?
Well, I'm not supporting Donald Trump. White supremacy do turn me off, but it's everywhere and it's on both sides of the aisle. And, that's just the reality that we live in. And I'm not naive to that. So, we're engulfed in white supremacy. So, that's just something we're going to have to fight our way out of.
So regardless of what he's going to do, his message was, hey, I just asked everybody to give me some thoughts and put something into their plan. That's his story. He's sticking to it. But it kind of caught fire, even though he's really not a dynamic speaker and it's boring in general to listen to. It started to catch fire. And it started to catch some traction. So then, of course, the mainstream media has to come out and do something about it. Here's Ari on MSNBC. Listen to this nasty trick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're not a legislator, but as I mentioned, a lot of artists and a lot of black leaders have been, frankly, ahead of this, whether it's the point of conflict and violence with the police or your document goes into reparations, economics, the presentation specifically of black people in our world, whether that's news media over here or entertainment media. So I think it's a fascinating document. I want to get into more with it. I also, because this is the news and everybody gets the questions, I wanted to give you...
Oh, yeah. Now, notice what he's doing. First of all, this is news. This is not entertainment. The guy on the midday on MSNBC. This is news, baby, not entertainment. So let me disparage you.
I think it's a fascinating document. I want to get into more with it. I also, because this is the news and everybody gets the questions, I wanted to give you a chance to address this controversy around you as well. As you know, we'll show one of the headlines that was reporting or alleging that you've been sharing, quote, anti-Semitic images or theories. We could show one example of one that went up that people did take that way. I wanted to give you the chance to address that. What do you say to people who look at things like this and think that while you're calling for civil rights, that allegedly you're also sharing this kind of material?
Please, Black America, ADOS, pay attention to what happened there. A black man is saying, hey, we're getting gypped. And this guy turns around and says, yeah, but you're anti-Semitic. And could you get more toxic than that? Why, yes, you can. If your name is Chelsea Handler. As we know, Chelsea Handler had a relationship with 50 Cent years ago. I don't know how long it lasted, but she was very vocal about it. Haven't heard him say too much about it. 50 Cent came out and said, I looked at the Joe Biden plan. With my state and local taxes and this, I'll be paying 62% taxes, income tax. I don't want to become 20 Cent, which is a great line. Well, that had to be corrected.
You heard about my ex-boyfriend, right? 50 Cent and his support of Donald Trump.
Yeah, what's going on between you? I saw your tweets and I go, wait, what's happening? Because you said he was your favorite ex-boyfriend and then what does he do? Supporting Trump?
He says he doesn't want to pay 62% of taxes, which, by the way, isn't a plan of Joe Biden's. That's a lie. So he doesn't want to pay 62% of taxes because he doesn't want to go from being 50 cents to 20 cents. And I had to remind him that he was a black person, so he can't vote for Donald Trump, and that he shouldn't be influencing an entire swath of people who may listen to him because he's worried about his own personal pocketbook. So I haven't heard back from him yet, but I am willing to, seal the deal in more ways than one if he changes his mind and publicly denounces Donald Trump. I might be willing to go for another spin, if you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, brother. By the way, where are you getting these horrible clips?
That's just that's the quality. We need the quality of the clip?
Yeah, they sound like they're taken from a speaker.
Well, she was on a video chat with Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, that's why they would sound like crap.
Yes, yeah. That's most things, in case you hadn't noticed.
Yeah,
but so she So she said, I had to remind him he's a black person. He can't vote for Donald Trump. That's pretty much the reverse.
Yeah, that was the message.
The reverse of what Joe Biden said.
Yeah, and she'll whore herself out.
Thank you for using it. That's the strategy. Be whores. I guess she looks at Kamala and thinks, oh, that's the way to go. That's the way to get things done. That's really
it's
baffling.
lowbrow.
And it's very racist. And it's lowbrow. Lowbrow. Okay, I guess we could call it lowbrow.
It's lowbrow. Well, I got it. We're talking about Hollywood types. I have another Hollywood event.
Ooh.
And I have an Ask Adam part of it. I decided to cut this thing and chop it so I could ask you a question after the first half.
All right.
This Hollywood event, part 1.
Assemble.
Voters Assemble. That's the name of a virtual fundraiser that will see Avengers stars Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, Don Cheadle, Paul Rudd, Mark Ruffalo, and Zoe Saldana, quote, unite for democracy in support of Joe Biden's presidential campaign. Senator Kamala Harris is also set to participate in the grassroots fundraiser hosted by the Russo brothers on October 20th at 6:45 p.m. Eastern. The virtual event will include a Q&A and a trivia game. Evans, Saldana, and Ruffalo have been particularly vocal on social media about voting in the upcoming election. Ruffalo recently encouraged his followers to share what America they want to live in and use the hashtag with Biden We Can. He helped start the trend by posting his own video.
I want to live in America.
Okay. All right, everybody, it's time to play the game that no one can win. It's Ask Adam.
What kind of America does Mark Ruffalo... And by the way, these guys are going for grassroots money. Why don't they just put some of their own money in?
Right.
Anyway, but it's beside the point. So Mark Ruffalo wants to live in an America with Biden we can. Mm-hmm. What kind of America is that? What do you think, just in a nutshell?
Well, is it a sentence? Is it a one? I just need to know what kind of answer.
This is the kind of America I'd like to live in. I want an America that. That what? I mean, what would just generally? What would is it for more freedom or justice?
Well, you would
more Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, you would think he would say equality, equality and justice. Equality, equity. Maybe he just wants to live in Black America.
Maybe.
Here we go.
Oh, wait. Let's see what he actually says.
I want to live in America where climate change and the climate catastrophes are taken seriously, and where climate policy and science is led by science.
Oh.
And by the way, science should be led by science.
Wow. I don't want to play. Wow. What a dick. Why don't you go live in a lab, loser? My goodness. With that, I'd like to thank you for your courage and say in the morning to you, the man who put the C in card shark, John C. Dvorak.
Yeah, well, in the morning to you, Mr. Adam Kerr. Also in the morning, all ships at sea, boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water, and all the dames and nights out there.
And in the morning to our trolls who have been here, I think, almost all the 13 years in the troll room, noagendastream.com. You can go in there, troll, listen to the show live, any show that is playing. It's 24 hours a day. We have a stream with all of the great podcasts from No Agenda Nation. And many of them are live, and many people like to interact. But you can basically go in there any time of the day and just troll around, chat around with somebody there. There's always lots of people logged in. And when you're there, ask for an invite to noagendasocial.com, our federated social network. Gosh, man. If more people got a Mastodon server, it would be so great. What was I reading? I just thought that was an interesting stat about Twitter. I don't know if you saw that. Here it is. Yeah, the Pew Research Center came out with a study, and the small share of highly active Twitter users are mainly Democrats, and they produce the bulk of tweets from the United States, according to Pew Research. So they finally kind of have what they wanted, which is get everybody with opposing views, mainly not Democrat Party views, get them off.
Mm-hmm.
So why doesn't everyone just leave them? Set up a.
I did.
Yes, you did. Set up a Mastodon server, masto.host, masto.host. We have no relationship with it, but this is a good kid from Denmark, and you can immediately communicate with everybody who also has one of these servers and make that your right-wing space, which will trigger a lot of Mastodon people for sure. But there's so many things you can do, people. Anyway, noagendasocial.com. You can get an invite from the troll room. Please don't email me. You should be able to put it on Twitter and actually get an invite from somebody else. Everybody who's on the noagendasocial.com can do this. And we'll see you there. It is where John C. Dvorak loves the signal-to-noise ratio and posts regularly, as opposed to Twitter. He has given up. Very good. And then a big in the morning to Tom Tanail. Tom Tanail nailed it with the artwork for episode 1288. The title of that was Croaker. And this was a 13-year celebratory goat. And we had a lot to choose from once again. There was something about the combo of the orange, the way it phased, just the goat. It's a beautiful goat. The 13 years up at the top. And what other criteria did we bring into play, and what things did we discuss?
It was an attractive goat. It was a good use of the goat.
It's a good goat.
We haven't really used the goat meme much in the art.
True. Well,
I mean, people have tried it, but it doesn't work as well. But this goat was like a centerpiece. It was good.
Centerpiece.
Just a nice piece.
A centerpiece goat. And there was a lot of other stuff. But
there was a lot of good art.
Now, you took notes because we were supposed to talk about some of the other art.
Well, we did have another attempt at cheesecake, which was getting closer.
Getting closer,
and
Darren.
I used this piece for the newsletter, which was Darren O'Neill. And it continued. He finally started looking into cheesecake. I think he did some research and found an old pinup or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he put some Nike shoes on her and a 33 wristband and tried to gussy her up.
Kind of like a Varga girl. Vibe.
Yeah, a little bit.
Varga girl.
And
close.
May have been, actually.
Actually, I think those are those may be spin shoes, I think. For spinning.
Well, they were Nikes, that's for sure.
Yeah, they're Nikes, yeah.
And so he had the right. He's headed there, but he still hasn't done the knockout piece yet.
Right.
That just goes, oh, what a piece.
One of those. You go, oh, what a piece. What a piece.
Yeah, so there you have it.
The Tubin.
There's some other nice pieces. It was a lot of good art, that show.
There was a lot of Tubin stuff, which we didn't go for.
Yeah, the Tubin's hard to make funny.
The Iranian Proud Boys was nice, but to us it was like, another T-shirt.
Yeah, the T-shirt gag is pretty stale.
And from the producer of House of Cards, had misspelled house.
Yes, that was
so that was off. Closed due to media control. That was another Darren piece. We like that one. But you can play along with this.
That's the piece I liked probably more than the
goat
to actually use, but I never did.
Yeah. So we appreciate Tom Tanail's fantastic work, but really the work of all of these artists, because we know why you do it. We know you just want to hear us criticize you. And we're happy to do it. It hurts us to do it, but it's important that someone criticizes you so you become even better.
Painful.
So painful. So you become even better. And go to noagendaartgenerator.com. That's where you can see all of this fantastic stuff that people have done. It shows up in newsletters, the pre-stream tweets and notification, bat signal, T-shirts, mugs, hats, the masks, and gaiters over at noagendashop.com. And where even the artists participate in some of that revenue. It's just a fantastic use of your time and talent, as we like to say in our value for value model. Please, you get out of it what you put into it, and all we ask for is some value, and you can give that to us in your time, your talent, and your treasure. And time to look at the treasure. We like to thank our big supporters right off the bat in the show with our executive producers and associate executive producers. Here we go.
Start the clock. Paul Schreiber's at the top of the list with $1,800. Thank you, Paul. Happy 13th to the best podcast in the universe. He writes in, I'm returning the love to my smoking hot wife, Heidi, for the $200 donation that she put in on my birthday last week. This donation will make her, Heidi Schreiber, the Dame of Queen Creek, and myself, Paul Schreiber, the Knight of Queen Creek. Please play a Don't Enslave Me, Kamala, and the JC Mac and Cheese, along with Jobs Karma for our small businesses. Thank you for making my day twice a week. making my day twice a week for all these years. So he's got 2 Insta nights, essentially.
Nice.
Don't enslave me, Kamala!
You slaves can get used to mac and cheese, cheap macaroni and cheap cheddar melted together.
Mac and cheese. Mac and cheese.
Jobs, and jobs. Let's vote for jobs. You've got karma.
Deb Scott comes in next with 1313.13.
Whoa.
Which is, 1313.13. That's a lot of 13s.
That's a lot of 13s.
Should put that on the list. We'll give him a full credit. That's dynamite. Anonymous, happy anniversary. NJNK, Deb Scott, Earl at Large.
Thank you very much, sir.
Craig Scholl, possibly Scholey, 1024.80. Greetings from the Hoosier State. I'm tired of not having a night ring, and since it's my 40th birthday today, why not donate to match my birthday? I don't know if he's on the birthday list.
Ooh, I'll check that out.
You can check that while I continue to read.
Mm-hmm.
Why not a donation to the Match My Birthday? I cannot express how grateful I am for the amazing deconstruction you guys do week after week. Even when I send clips to John, and he replies back and calls me tone deaf. I've never called anyone tone deaf except my wife. I still love you, John. I will send you a Gnawbone pictures whenever I pass through. Gnawbone, Indiana, he's referring to, one of the greatest cities in the world. Any Hoosits, can I get some Gouda and Glenfiddich at the round table? I think Adam can do that.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to be known as Sir Craig Knight of the Fishermen. Can I get a Hillary laugh, 2 to the head, and her head is gone for jingles? My best friend...
Whoa.
I just caught a
bug. The Rona.
No, I caught a peanut skin.
Oh, were you fisting?
No. Can I get a Hillary laugh, 2 to the head? Her head is gone for jingles. My best friend's wife has been battling cancer for a few years and has received some not great news. Can I get an F cancer for her and a healing karma for the family? Hard to see someone in their 30s with 2 younger girls go through this. I'll straighten myself out.
Yeah, you straighten yourself out, and I will definitely get your, what is this again? Your, yes. How do you pronounce it? Gouda and Glenfiddich? Gouda? Gouda? Gouda?
Gouda? G-O-E-T-T-A. Gouda? Gouda? I don't know.
And her head is gone. You've got karma.
Well, we really have a roll here going on. Christian Lair in Phoenix, Arizona, 1,000.
Oof.
You're John and Adam, instant night donation. Another one.
Dang.
That's what I like. He wants pierogies and Iron City beer, karma jingle request, a TPP jobs karma for my business, and a goat karma for my wife, Debbie, who's always laughs when she hears the goat scream. Yeah, it's good for a laugh. As a first-time donor after having been a listener for over 2 years, please de-douche me.
You bet.
You've been de-douched.
I'm skeptical of the idea that there's a single creator in the universe. This doesn't pass the smell test for me. Well, maybe it doesn't stink. Luckily for you two, I'm open to the... Why is it lucky for us? I'm open to the idea that
we're not going to hell.
Can sometimes get, actually that might be the gives us a nudge to make sure our personal karma stays in balance. Before heading into work each day, I sit down on my patio with my cup of coffee and read my email. Yesterday, my inbox showed 33 unread emails. Even though the magic number caught my attention, I was certain it was nothing more than a coincidence or coinky-dink. I read the emails and went on with my day. The universe would not be ignored. This morning, I was again greeted with 33 unread emails.
Uh-huh.
I'm not that dumb or stubborn. The message was clear. Donate to No Agenda and don't be stingy with the amount. You've received tremendous value and it's time to pay it back. Please accept my donation, $1,000, and my request to be knighted as Sir Christian of Phoenix. No fancy titles or puns. Names and current location will do just fine. To all listeners, producers, and my soon-to-be fellow knights and dames, don't ignore the signs. When something you randomly see or hear reminds you of the No Agenda show, take the hint and donate, especially if it's the magic number.
Jobs.
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 Jobs. Jobs. Jobs.
And jobs.
You've got karma.
Daniel, surveyor of the realm, which is one of those pun names. $390 from Victoria, BC.
Thank you very much.
Beautiful place. Happy anniversary. Here's money, Daniel.
Thank you. Short, sweet, and to the point.
Short and sweet and to the point. Sir JD, our buddy and Baron of Silicon Valley, 33370. Happy anniversary to the best podcast in the universe. I keep up the great work. Keep it up, gents. No jingles. Just Goat Carmen, please read the message that I've mailed in for the last 3 shows. This is the 33 LEET producer donation to help celebrate Sir JD, Baron of Silicon Valley and such. We'll look for the email and read as soon as we can.
Leet indeed, 333.70. Thank you very much, sir. Here's your goat.
You've got karma.
Anonymous in Louisville, 33356. ITM gents, I've been listening for about 6 months without donating. Please de-douche me.
You've been de-douched.
When I heard that the show birthday and my own are in the same week, I knew it was time to donate. Okay, I got another guy that needs to be put on the birthday list. I'll bet. I knew it's time to donate. The numerology part of the show is so great. So a 33 theme donation seemed like the most sense, and I threw in the 56 for Adam's birthday.
Oh.
When the Venn diagram of JRE and Tom Woods centered on this show, I knew it was special. John, please consider this a Tom Wood conversion in your ledger. Okay?
All right.
We're not really keeping tabs. For jingles, please play Love You Mean It. I hope this is a jingle to my smoking hot wife. I don't know if that one.
Yes, I have it.
Good. Extended NASCAR race invocation that includes Boogity Boogity and Smoking Hot Wife. Trump shouting jobs for all the listeners that need help. And finally, Goat Karma with an extra bell ring. Love the show. And John, be safe.
Yeah. We know you're not going to get it out of him. No.
Love you, mean it.
Jobs.
You've got karma.
Okay, you can read this one. By the way, as you put, he's anonymous. Never mind. What if he's on the birthday list or not?
No, we should just throw an anonymous in all the time, shouldn't we? Just say, "Hey, anonymous, happy birthday!" Just cover everybody, cover everybody in one go. Hey, anonymous, how you doing? Yes, this is from. Hold on a second. I have to scroll myself here. Sir John of South London. And he has a number of jingle requests there. And John, Adam, happy anniversary. Congrats on making it so far, and thanks for the sanity in these unprecedented times, as they like to say. Please accept this executive producer contribution of $333.33 for an outstanding product that helps us all to stay calm, focused, and cheerful. Your efforts are very much appreciated. My accounting is below for reference. For fellow No Agenda producers, could I also recommend The Delling Pod from James Delling-Pole, a British journalist. I guess he has other podcasts. London Calling, yes, I think we both subscribe to that, from James Delling-Pole and Toby Young, which is geared towards U.S. audiences but covers UK politics. And Planet Normal, a COVID skeptic podcast. That's quite interesting. Stay safe, he says. We will not respond to that. He is Sir John of South London. He is a baronet, and we appreciate that very much. And have your jingles for you ready, sir.
Donald loves Nazis. Donald loves Nazis. CNN say that he's KKK, and he shouts Sig Hail with it. Wow.
And jobs. You've got karma.
That thing is violent, man. That TPP is a violent jingle.
It is.
But people like it. I think we got a lot of requests for it.
Well, we'll see how it works.
Yeah.
David Konen in Utrecht, Netherlands, 333.33. In the morning, congrats on the 13th anniversary of the No Agenda Show. I've been doing $4 a week for a year now, but this is my first executive producer donation. Please de-douche me.
You've been de-douched.
It says, NA and I share a birthday. I'll be celebrating my 33rd, another 33rd birthday.
Wow.
I thought an appropriate donation was in order. No jingles, no karma. As the many more years of No Agenda, I'd raise a toast, but the Netherlands has banned booze to fight COVID. Thank you for your courage and keep up the very fine work.
They're ahead of the curve. They jumped the gun on the booze ban. Wow. Way to go, Rutte.
I don't know what they're thinking. James Fukumoto comes in next. Oh, did he ask for jingles?
No, he said no jingles, no karma. No.
James Fukumoto in Salem, Virginia, 333.33. I guess a very popular donation of late. Don't eat me, Bo Jiden, Pew Pew, Little Girl Yays. His requests, not too much TPP jobs karma. He wants it again too. Okay. He says, I need to give back since he's gotten 5 or 6 job offers in the past year since listening. ITM, John and Adam. Hey, you guys got the last name right. Awesome. I was kind of curious if it would trip you up, but true professionals you are. What was I going to? Fukumoto. I mean, how else would you pronounce that? Fukumoto. Another reason No Agenda is the best podcast in the universe. The annoying spam callers always get off script when they hit the last name. Anyways, figured I'd take advantage of some executive producerships on my journey to the roundtable. Another software developer, guess that counts as a dude named Ben, and Eagle Scout. You can add to your ranks of producers. We have so many.
We have a lot of Eagle Scouts. Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Fukumoto.
Don't eat me, Bo Jiden. You're scary. So scary.
Jobs, and jobs.
You've got karma.
Violence, I tell you. Violence.
You're up.
Okay. When you do that, it makes it kind of hard for me to also queue up.
Okay, don't do it. I got it.
No, I can do it.
333.33.
I just got to queue up the
gentlemen,
jingles.
please leave this anonymous. This is one of those long anonymous notes I thought you'd like to read. I'm another Ronamo. I'm not sure what's Rogan. Okay,
no agenda, Mofax. Mofax, yeah. Ronamo.
So he came in from Mofax?
No, he came in from Rogan to No Agenda.
I got it. Mm-hmm. He's a Rogan guy who decided to listen to No Agenda and Mofax. He's a double hit.
Yep.
And the first donation is well overdue. Please de-douche me. Okay.
You've been de-douched.
Thanks to you two keeping me sane during our 2 weeks to flatten the curve, soon to be 8-month anniversary. Looking for California refugee karma as we were selling our house and leaving behind Silicon Valley to make our way to... Oh, brother.
Gosh.
That's number 2. Hold on a second. Put a note down. I'm keeping track of the old brothers. I'm limiting myself to 5.
You should.
I'm on 2. Kansas, he's making our way to Kansas City. Kansas City, here I come. To my future friends in Kansas, don't worry, I won't be California-ing anywhere. You can't help it, dude. 2 certain things have, even Adam went to Austin, and the next thing you know, he's telling us it might turn red. Huh?
Yeah, seriously. That's the rumor. That's the rumor.
I'd like to see.
Yeah.
My smoking hot wife and I value our freedom over safety. Shout out to Big Ben Franklin. And 2, people really are this dumb, scared, and lazy. Somehow it's both surprising and completely not surprising at the same time. I'm sure there's a Germanic word for it. A couple of blessings in disguise during the pandemic. 1, I get so much more quality time with my beautiful little 4-year-old human resource. And 2, I've avoided being witch hunted out of my hardware engineering job at the largest and most influential tech company in the world.
Google.
What do you think that might be?
Google.
You think?
Yeah. I think so.
Working from home has made force-feeding critical race theory to us slaves so much more difficult on our cultural alchemists. 2020 definitely was the year I wouldn't have survived the in-person struggle sessions. I've never been one to not express my opinion loudly. I have a boots on the ground report for you, but filter out all the BS emails and have no real data. What's happening in my company keeps me sane. That's what we do. I hit my buddy Dave in North Carolina in the mouth several months ago. Please call him out as a douchebag. Douchebag. Please you may be from Google because his writing style is just...
It's googly.
It's googly.
It's googly.
Please wish us luck and karma as my family and I take a huge leap of faith and start a new life for our little...
Oh, good. That's great.
Yeah. And Kansas is probably not a bad place to do it. Keep up not Kansas City so much, but Kansas. Keep up the tremendous work, Anonymous. For now, can I please get the following jingles? Donald Trump, don't trust China. China's asshole. Pence, Pelosi, Trump, jobs, karma. There it is again. For everyone hurting right now, don't eat me, Bo Jiden, in honor of Crazy Eyes Joe's debate last Thursday. And a boogity, 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 boogity. Amen to help get us out of the California as fast as we can.
Donald Trump, don't trust China. China is asshole.
Don't eat me, Bo Jiden. You're scary. So scary.
Jobs. You've got karma.
I'm really digging that.
Do you really think that's Google we're talking about?
Yeah.
Is it that bad?
Yeah. Hey, I'll grab this next one here. I'll grab the next couple of ones. Don Tommaso di Toronto. There we go. $333.13. Kettle B, Ontario, Scandinavia. From Don Tommaso di Toronto. Happy 13th year. No jingles, no karma. Small de-douching, please.
You've been de-douched.
And email received from you about the truth wants to come out from Justin Trudeau. And thank you for your courage and thank you for your support. James Powers from Carnegie, Oklahoma. Also $333.13. Celebrating our 13 years on the pod. Hey, stop. Does that bother you when people say, oh, you had a great pod, or I haven't listened to the latest pod?
I never hear that.
Oh, it's rampant. It started with the Pod Save America, and they started, and of course it's a very popular podcast, and they'd be like, well, yeah, tomorrow on the pod, and I hear it everywhere. And you know what's worse? First of all, your favorite word, webinar. What do you think of the term
I love
webinar?
The webinar.
So now, what is the new term? You're not going to believe it. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you the podinar. It's a thing. It's a thing. The podinar. It irks me. I will boycott anything that is titled podinar.
You may play the Adam Curry's pet peeve of the day to round things out.
Oh, okay. Well, you caught me off guard, but sure.
Adam C. Curry's pet peeve of the day.
Podinar.
That is a big pet peeve with you.
Oh, bigly. So this is from James Powers, a dude named James in Oklahoma. Congrats, JCD and Adam, on your 13th anniversary. You both have given me much needed sanity in this year of chaos. Thank you so much for doing the real work. Dealer's choice of jingle and no karma needed. Well, okay. In that case, sorry, I wasn't prepared for that. Dealer's choice.
They're saying that all hell is going to break loose and you're going to need a Bitcoin.
$333 from Kasha Jeletka from Effort, Pennsylvania. Never heard of Effort. In the morning, gents, this is my third birthday donation for Sunday 10/25, 42 years old. I feel blessed. I saw Adam on JRE back in the beginning of 2020. You guys are awesome. Thank you for what you do. It's much needed. Love your show notes site. Thank you. It helped me win many social media fights during the quarantine as I was able to use clips and sources to back up my arguments. Yes, this is an undervalued or often under-discussed part of what we produce.
Absolutely.
Newsletter is a big part of what we do. Show notes, which I have many people to thank, including Dave Jones, but also thank you to Ralphie and Tim and all the guys who put together the search engines. Bingit.io is my favorite. There's a number of them. No Agenda Quest, noagendaquery.com. Bingit.io is my all-time favorite. And it is fascinating how great the output is because it's really just no agenda stuff. Again, no algos. You can sort by relevance, which I guess is kind of an algo, and by date. And that's it. And it works really, really well. So I'm glad you're getting some value out of that. Shout out to my handsome husband, Wojtek, and our 2 human resources who both listen to your show when we drive. So thank you for educating my kids. John, I love you to death, but please don't ever say Polish pierogies suck, or I'll be forced to send you some. All the best from Kasia Jiletka in Effort, Pennsylvania. Thank you very much, Kasia. It's very kind of you. Earl Walkman of Buckeye, a longtime supporter. He says, hey, it's Earl here, and $333 from him, and thank you very much. And I'll get the next jingles ready if you can pick this one up.
The Jake one?
Yeah, of course. The Jake one. I'll pick it up halfway.
Jake, the Night of the Deep Blue Sea, comes in with a copy of War and Peace.
It does.
Donates $333 and decides to lecture us with a long note. In the morning, gentlemen, happy 13th anniversary. This one is the lace anniversary. This note is from Jake, the Night of the Deep Blue Sea, and my brother.
Topher. I met Topher.
Topher.
These are the guys with all the Trump money stuff.
Yeah, Topher. A year ago, we started a company called Legendary Trump Coins, but we've had to rebrand as rockflagandeagle.com. Rockflagandeagle.com. We create and sell merchandise that pays tribute to President Trump. I hope Adam liked all the merch Topher gave him, along with the $50 donation that was counted as anonymous during the Vegas meetup.
Sorry.
John, your merch is in the mail.
And by the way, the reason it was counted anonymously is because Topher handed me the money in cash. I said, do you have an envelope, a note? And I handed it off to the shill, and that's how it goes. And we are clear about the notes and the envelopes.
Yeah. The idea is you put a note in an envelope, put the money, check, whatever you want to put in the envelope. Your check is preferred. And then you write the note, and you put on the note your name and location. And you could put anonymous on the note. It's fine. Or just put an envelope with just money in it. That's just anonymous. It's fine. We've had a tough time of it with our Trump merch. We've had periods of great sales, but when things start getting good, and their algo is really working, Facebook has canceled our advertising account on 2 separate occasions.
Duh.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
They offer amazing targeting, but only if they agree with your message. That's interesting. It seems both times we had underlings tell us it didn't look like we did anything wrong, to having someone above them tell us our accounts could not be re-enabled since they had gone against the community standards.
Did you see that?
There's a long note. I appreciate a note like this. It's got information. They wouldn't even tell us what we did wrong. This is what irks me the most. This is what happened to Polly, the amazing Polly. She got kicked off of PayPal, and nobody could tell her what happened.
PayPal?
Yeah, that was the last thing that happened to her.
Wow.
They wouldn't even tell us what we did wrong, so we couldn't circumvent their policies. Well, you don't want to circumvent their policy. You just want to do it right. But if you can't do it, you can't do it right if they can't tell you what right is. We're simply told to read the community standards. That's helpful.
Yeah.
That's why we changed the name of the site. Maybe because they didn't like having Trump's name in our URL.
Yeah.
That's possible.
That will do it.
It's not, and this is not Zuckerberg. This is the social justice warriors that plague a lot of companies, and they're the ones in there doing all this stuff. You should not be hiring these people. I'm talking to one of our producers about, I'm trying to put together a list of good questions to ask, or some ways to spot these people. And you have to jump through hoops. I'm continuing the note. Then you have to jump through hoops to get a new account set up. It's been frustrating to say the least. If there are any listeners who are corporate lawyers that want to help us out, forget about it. We'd love to see what we can find during discovery. Not worth it. We think there's some shady stuff going on.
For sure.
I'm sure there is. We think if Facebook costs us at least $150,000, that's what it's going to cost you in lawyers' fees. During the more than 2 months, we weren't able to run ads. As we push toward it's not the only place you can run ads. As we push towards the election, we wanted to offer No Agenda listeners who happen to be Trump fans a special discount, 33% off all orders over $20, excluding clothing, with the coupon code ITM. Just go to rockflagandeagle.com and use the code ITM when you check out. We'll like a Jobs Karma, the awesome new one. Again.
Yeah.
LGY Goat Karma. In the Morning Boys, and there's to another 13 years. Topher and Jake, Knight of the Deep Blue Sea.
And co-founders of rockflagandeagle.com. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your courage.
Jobs, 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 and jobs.
You've got karma.
Lauren Ball is next on. Whoops. Lauren Ball's next on the list from Slidell, Louisiana, $260.62. There's no note that says with the subject line donation from her. There is no note from somebody named Ball, if first name Lauren or Laren, Laren.
But we appreciate it.
Dave, Duke of America's heartland in the Arabian Peninsula. Everybody
there he is, yes.
Supposedly in Gladstone, Missouri, but he's not. $260 donation. I'm sure he's still stuck where he's stuck, which is in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Juan Carlos and Adam, congrats to the 13th countless years of amygdala shrinking and sanity promoting content that is spewed from your mellifluous mouth holes to all of our emancipated ear holes. We're all better for it. Thank you for your courage, Dave.
Dave, thank you, man. Yeah, go ahead. I'll take the next one.
Paul Branham, 23333, Greeley, Colorado. Go west. Happy birthday to my smoking hot singer-songwriter wife, Joanna Marvel, 1026, and our brilliant human resource, Ali Danger, 1116. Science and goat karma for high schoolers in limbo, Paul in Greeley.
People are learning through science.
You've got
karma.
Next up on the list, we have Anonymous. Anonymous, in the morning, A and J just got married on 10/10. Consider this our wedding deposit to you as our vendors for infotainment and small amygdalas. We're happy to help. If possible, John, please recite the following as our wedding gift. You see the note?
We did this one in the last show.
Well, then why is it here again? But is this just a second time? I don't remember. I remember the slogan.
Yeah. Don't you remember he talked about he worked teaching Chinese and the Chinese dissidents? And then it turns out they thought they were wrong, and then they turned out because they listened to the show that they were right.
So how did this get in here?
I don't know.
So do we...
It probably when it came in at a time issue at the midnight hour or something like that.
All right.
So we'll just skip it.
All right. Then I'll move on to the next one.
It's already been done.
Yaroslav Lapin, Yaroslav, $231 from Fairfield, California. For Adam, F the EU jingle, Nancy Pelosi's Jobs Karma. This is my 33 cents per episode of No Agenda. I started listening.
Funny idea.
How long has he been listening? I started on episode 588. Wow. That's pretty cool. Its album art stuck in my player for a year. That's why I remember it. It was the soldier in the Afghan poppy fields. Jeez, you really missed out on that.
I missed out on a lot of good art.
A lot of good stuff. I was listening to 1288 and re-listening to the 588 at the same time today. Okay. To my surprise, both of them mentioned the white paper on how Russia hates gays and the Sochi Olympics. Oh, that's interesting. I just had an email conversation with Brian the Gay Crusader about, in fact, We talked about on the last show. Brian's in Philadelphia, and he told us about the Barack Obama drive-in honk-a-thon, the honk event.
Yeah.
So that's Brian the Gay Crusader. We were just talking about this as well, about the white paper that he wrote from the No Agenda show notes and the show. This topic was why I turned to No Agenda in the first place. Some podcast in English that understands what is happening in Russia. What? Are they allowed to play F the EU? I couldn't ignore this coincidence and had to do something. I douched for too long. I also lost my job right before the corona hit, so jobs karma would be appreciated. I'll be sending an extended note from my email address, and that will be coming up later. Okay, and let me grab the F the EU, which we have. I think we have the
We have not played that for a long time.
It's been a very long time.
While I'm driving off laughing, this is what I'll say. Fuck the EU. Fuck the EU. Fuck the EU. Fuck the EU. No, exactly. Fuck the EU.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Next on the list as we round to the straightaway, Sir Tristan Banning in Toronto, Ontario, 21369. Congrats on 13 years, dudes. Anyways, jobs karma for all.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Michael Bryan comes up next from Laguna Niguel in California, 21313, and he is no note. And I couldn't find a note in the email looking under donation on the subject line or his name. Gummy Nerds, Viscount of the Troll Room, Green Bay, Wisconsin, 21212. 13 years? Holy fucking shit. Adam, thanks for handcrafting the finest sound quality experience of all podcasting. You know, by the way, I should mention this. It is pretty close to the finest, if it's not the finest. And it's definitely the finest single-hander ever. And ever will be. Now, where's an award for this? Where's an engineering award for this? I'd like to know.
Oh, well, thank you. That's a good point. Yeah. Where's my award? Well, that was the first
award.
That was the first award I got. Best produced podcast at the first podcast awards, I think.
Adam, thanks for handcrafting the finest sound quality experience of all podcasting while you present the No Agenda show's top-notch media deconstruction. John, thanks for being there. Oh, yeah. Thanks. You're a real sport. Gummy Nerds.
Thanks for breathing.
Thanks for showing up.
All right. Next, Jacob Forrester, $200 and Swazilnov 69 cents. Last few episodes have been straight fire, as my fellow millennials would say. Let's keep it 100. The show has provided so much value to me recently, I could not stand idle. Thus, I am chipping in. Longtime listener, second-time donor. I've been hitting people in the mouth left and right, but we'll spare them a douchebag call-out for now. But you know who you are. My quest for the end of the year is to get my sensationally smoking hot wife, an incoming human resource, hooked on the show. Well, I think if you get the mom hooked, then the kid is automatically hooked when it pops out. The kid needs some infotainment down there. So my wife, Chelsea, I give you a come on, man. Our kid can't help save the world if we don't start them early. Thank you for all you do. Jingle request, Trump, aroused, China, a-hole, and random Al, karma, no goat.
It was hard to get it aroused, and it is hard to get it aroused, but we got it aroused.
China is asshole.
RESPICT. You've got karma.
And last on the list is John Downing in Lost Wages, Nevada, $200. No need for war and peace. I bug you enough on Twitter at Downing702. De-douche me.
You've been de-douched.
He's going to need an F cancer, but he wants to call Melissa out as a douchebag. Douchebag. And thanks for all you do. I go by Mike, and I'm only putting my personal email here for accounting purposes. And then he's got it. Let me read it to you. No, I think I won't.
All right. Thank you very much.
Why put it there at all? Anyway, he needs an F cancer.
Yes, John, thank you very much for being our last associate executive producer for episode 1289.
You've got karma.
Oh. That wasn't too bad. And thank you for keeping the notes short where possible. It was very nice, very enjoyable. I want to thank all of our executive producers, associate executive producers, but all the dames, the knights, the barons, the earls, the baronets, everybody, and all producers who support this show. I think we can do at least another year. No clicky pen. No clicky pens. No clicky pens. No clicky pens. Stop the clicky pen.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Get rid of it.
I got the pen, and there's the. You know how I can deal with this? I've got to get rid of clicky pens.
Yes, that was the suggestion.
Just have regular pens.
The suggestion
that
from
don't have a
last year.
clicky on them.
Get rid of your clicky pens, man. Man, get rid of them. So we'll have another show. It'll be that'll be right. Our actual anniversary, of course, is the 26th, which is tomorrow. But we'll be very glad to see y'all come back again on Thursday when we break it down one more time as we get closer to the most important election of our lifetimes. And either way, as you know, for the show, whoever wins, it's good for the show, pretty much. In fact, Joe would probably be a little better for the show, to be honest. We'll be thanking more people in our second donation segment. Again, we only ask that you contribute some value, whatever you get out of the show. Put it into numbers, put it into time, talent, or your treasure. And numbers are always fun with numerology. And if you'd like to do that for Thursday, all you do is head over to
Dvorak.org/NA.
And thank you once again for helping us produce the single best podcast in the universe.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth. Order.
Shut up, slave.
Shut up, slave.
Before we get into the Trump stuff and the debate stuff with Biden and the Biden stuff, I have a clip I want to play because it does kind of refer back to some things that we read in the notes.
Okay.
Jordan Peterson, he was...
he was hooked on benzos and was
He was hooked
messed
on
up.
some, Valium-type drug.
It was benzos. He said specifically the benzos were were the big problem.
I think Valium falls into this category.
Oh, okay.
But it was one of these things. He got strung out, and he's still bitching about it, and he's almost died, and he's complaining, but he's still, he's coming back. He's making his comeback. But he keeps putting out these videos where he talks about... he's doing a lot of laments, and this is part of one, and he brings up an interesting topic.
17.
You'll hear the topic. You'll hear what I'm talking about when you play this little clip. It's very short, and I want to just reiterate: this guy's probably smarter than me by quite a bit, and probably you, I'm guessing. He's a smart guy. I want that as a premise to what we're about to hear.
Early 2017, according to the prescribed recommendations, and really never give it a second thought. That was a mistake, to say the least. Anyways.
But wait, isn't he Canadian?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it doesn't count.
Do they say anyways up in Canada?
I guess so. We have single-handedly watched this language change, and it's just been accepted. But I would appeal to Merriam-Webster, who, as we know, are the arbiters of language. They change definitions on the fly overnight. I would prefer, if we're going to use anyways, for it to be spelled with a Z. And I am going to start using it as anyways. That should be.
I'll throw in with you.
How about ANYWAYZE? Anyways.
Anyway, well, then it sounds like a promotion for the ways.
Oh, okay. No, we don't want that. Anyways, just anyways with a Z. That should be, and that is now the official pronunciation, usage, and spelling for the No Agenda show.
You're going to have to emphasize it. So it's not anyways, it's anyways.
Yes, you have to do it right. Anyways. You can also spell it ANIWAZE. That is the European, the British spelling.
There's one clip that would floating around. I must get this out of the way.
Right.
This is a clip that was floating around. Everyone's played it. It's very funny. Classic. This is Biden on voter fraud.
This is a very good one.
Secondly, we're in a situation where we have put together, and you guys did it for our the President Obama's administration before this. We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
The truth wants to come out. And what he's referring to is the fact check, the International Fact Check Network, which is, go ahead and look it up, is, I think we discussed it 2 or 3 shows ago, is paid for from donations from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the Soros Open Society Institute, and the Pierre Omidyar Drive My Car outfit. I mean, it's did you see USA Facts, F-A-C-T-S? USA Facts has been advertising the facts, and it's actually, it looks like you're going to get a Trump as an a-hole, and then it kind of shows that Trump might have done some good stuff. It has charts, about unemployment, etc. And I had to look it up. This is the Steve Ballmer and his wife. Do you remember that they were going to he was on Bill Maher like a year ago, maybe. He said, "Oh yeah, I'm putting Ballmer, yeah, Steve Ballmer, yeah, Steve and Connie. They have put their money into USAFacts.com, and it seems straight up, and they just have these ads that maybe it doesn't say Trump or Biden or anything like that. Just say get the facts, USA Facts, and I've looked at it. It's pretty decent and interesting. That I wouldn't peg Ballmer for a truthful guy at all. He's a sales guy. He's a bona fide brown shoe wearing sales guy.
Oh yeah, no, he is a sales guy.
So interesting that he's running that.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
We want to play, just before we get into any more, since we played that Biden clip, I do have some NA No Agenda classics to remind people this is our 13th anniversary.
Okay.
We used to have a couple of clips, some Biden clips, since we're going to be talking about Biden in a second, that were pretty classic. I have the No Agenda classic. This is from 2003 that we used to use as a reference point in the early shows. This is Biden on gay marriage.
President used his radio address yesterday and tomorrow in the Rose Garden to talk about a constitutional amendment to ban gay marriage.
Think about this. The world's going to Hades in a handbasket. We are desperately concerned about the circumstance relating to avian flu. We don't have enough vaccines. We don't have enough police officers. And we're going to debate the next 3 weeks, I'm told, gay marriage, a flag amendment, and God only knows what else. I can't believe the American people can't see through this. We already have a law, the Defense of Marriage Act, where we've all voted, not where I voted and others said, look, marriage is between a man and a woman, and states must respect that. Nobody's violated that law. There's been no challenge to that law. Why do we need a constitutional amendment? Marriage is between a man and a woman. What's the game going on here?
He's such a fair weather friend, isn't he? Bo Jiden. The gays don't deserve it.
Here's another one. This is another No Agenda classic. This is from 2008. This is his jobs clip.
Look, last-minute economic plan does nothing to tackle the number one job facing the middle class, and it happens to be, as Barack says, a 3-letter word: jobs. J-O-B-S. Jobs.
Nothing like a 3-letter word like jobs.
What an idiot.
Ladies and gentlemen, your next president of these United States.
So you watched the debate. I watched the debate.
I did. What'd you think?
I got no clips from it. I mean, I can tell you what I thought of it. Yep. I did listen to the after the debate thing, and it was pretty conclusive. You listen to...
I have a couple of shorty ISOs, and we can just go through them and discuss it. First, I'd like to say, I thought the message in the first 10, 15 minutes was clear, and you didn't have to watch after that. In fact, not a lot of people watched it. It was only 55 million, which was significantly less than the previous one. When when Trump said, Trump's message was, we've got to live. It's a 99.9% survival rate. We've got to open up. We've got to go back to work. We have to go. We need to live. We have to be vibrant. And Biden came right back in with, no, we got to lock it down, get it under control. He had some quip about life. He said death. Then he brought in the dark winter, which words matter. And I'm sure you got a ton of emails about the dark winter statement. Did you?
I got no emails about the dark winter statement, but I do have Trump in Florida discussing it.
Okay, hold on a second. Let's play that for a second.
Notice that? It was always, once you get it, you're immune. I get it. Nope, it's only good for 4 months. It's a fake news. Last night, Biden, in his very weak debate performance, said, did you see some of the debates? 91% to 9. 91% in my favor to 9. 91 to 9. I like that. I like the sound of that. But last night he said America is entering a dark winter. Isn't that really inspirational? He's running for president. Think of it. We have this guy that can't even speak, and he goes, we're entering a dark winter. So inspirational. But he's trying to scare people, basically. He's trying to get something because he's been such a failure at every level of government that this is something. But what they don't remember is the swine flu and how bad it was. But I bring that up whenever I can. But we're not entering a dark winter. We're entering the final turn and approaching the light at the end of the tunnel. That's the way I looked at it.
All right, so dark winter, and I heard this, and I immediately did a search, and I came up with the same thing everybody else came up with. Dark winter was the code name for a senior-level bioterrorist attack simulation conducted June 22nd to 23rd in 2001. It was designed to carry out a mock version of a covert and widespread smallpox attack on the United States. Who was involved? Johns Hopkins Center. So this is so analogous to Event 201 that I take Dark Winter seriously when he says that. I take it seriously. And I don't know what they're planning. I don't know what your ideas are, but we got our eye on you. And I got a couple links in the show notes. People can go take a look at that. One other thing I wanted to mention, I have analyzed Joe Biden's outfit, his mask, his double masks, his necktie, and his wristwatch during the previous debate. I've revisited some of his videos. He is an analog wristwatch wearing man, silver wristwatch, except during this debate where he had an Apple iPhone, an Apple iWatch, and he kept looking at his watch because he was clearly receiving text messages from his back office or whoever is prompting him. And I think that you're not allowed to have these watches during exams at school. And all of a sudden, he's changing his...
This is a great observation. You're right. He is an analog wristwatch guy. Yep. Why does he all of a sudden have a digital watch, especially that one, which will relay messages?
And he would do that, flip the left arm out, look at his watch during a question even. So I thought that was bogative. And just to make it clear, they shouldn't allow those types of devices for any type of debate.
Too late.
Yeah. Now let's see.
He's a cheater.
Yeah,
that's what you're saying.
Yeah, he is. I think he's a cheater. Yeah.
He is a cheater.
Let me see if I had anything that was funny. Here's Trump was talking about being. Actually, I can play that first. The least racist person in the room.
I am the least racist person in this room.
And he was really sad. He was sad that he was being called a racist. And he said, I've been the best guy since for blacks since Abraham Lincoln, to which Biden said,
Abraham Lincoln here is one of the most racist presidents we've had in modern history.
And it was so confusing that he did that. I understand what he was trying to do, but no, that didn't work very well. What else was there? I mean, to me, he lost again after the the contrast between light and dark at the beginning when Trump hounded him.
Who built the cages? I'd love you to ask him that. Who built the cages? That was him.
It took too long to get it right. It took too long to get it right.
He did nothing
to get it right. It took too long to get it right.
He built the cages. That just kept coming back over and over again. And Joe was weak. He was weak. Trump looked 3 times his size, which he is, in the side-by-side camera. And the president had a demeanor which was, I would say, was presidential, is what people were looking for. I think it proves us right that he was doing a typical heel move in the first one, just creating confusion. It's all about the last one. I think he understands that. And even the moderator I thought was pretty decent, she still interrupted President Trump much more than Biden, particularly when he was trying to make a point. But after all this was said and done, Frank Lutz did a Zoom call with undecided voters for the Los Angeles Times, and I think it was one undecided, one for Biden, and 12 others for Trump. And this hit MSNBC after the debate.
I thought that was CNN.
What? Do you know what I'm going to play?
Oh, no, I thought you were talking about Luntz.
No, I'm moving on. And now MSNBC, he did that for the Los Angeles Times. It wasn't for CNN, it was Los Angeles Times. I think I might have, it was a whole hour of these people talking about what they thought about the debate. And I think Trump clearly did a good job there. But here is 3 undecided black women that MSNBC, I guess they did it live and weren't thinking about the answers.
I am totally undecided. I'd write your name in at this point.
Usually by now I would have voted already, but I'm just not comfortable with either one of them right now.
What are you looking for? What do you need to hear?
Let's start at the crime bill and the fact that he has not only not apologized, not only
Joe
not
Biden.
he is not only not rectified. Every time he reverts back to, well, it was the Black Caucus members in the church, but they were with it too. Okay, you fooled them as well.
You know, you never said I'm sorry. You know, it's like I didn't do it.
I want to hear an ironclad plan. I don't want to hear if this or if that or after the election.
Does the presence of Kamala Harris on the Democratic ticket sway you at all?
Not at all. I don't know who said she had our vote. She does not. We were supposed to grab onto Kamala with the black girl magic, but that didn't happen because she didn't right her wrongs.
Like, I hold officials accountable. I don't care what color you are. And I think that too often we automatically think that because someone looks like you, that they're going to have your best interests at heart. And that's just not simply true.
This is a crack and a chink in the armor that is devastating for the Biden-Harris camp because they have focused with Black Lives Matter Inc. so heavily on black women. And then for MSNBC to put 3 black women on who was like, nah, well, I don't think so.
They had the MSN. You know how this happened. MSNBC. If you were one of these people at MSNBC, they're all in with the Democrats or DNC. Trump keeps referring to it as MSDNC. In his speeches.
Yeah, he does.
Which is kind of like low end radio disc jockey kind of commentary, but it's okay.
Very low end.
So he. So they say, let's just bring 3 black women on. We should maybe vet them. Now there's 3 black women. Are you kidding me? 3 black women. They're all in for Biden. Just put them on. And they were in for a shocker there. I think Luntz is the same way when he brings people on. Because if you listen to at the end of the debate, and unfortunately they're very hard because they never keep these videos. You can't go find them and you have to pick it off the air at the time. All the commentators from NBC, ABC, and especially those 2, CBS to a lesser extent, and CBS had the lowest ratings for the debate of all the networks, including the cables, which was really a shocker. I looked at the numbers.
That is interesting.
And but the NBC and ABC, everybody at the end, Biden had Trump on the ropes. And I'm thinking, what were these people watching?
Yeah.
Well, Hallie Jackson was the worst of it. She's really bad. I'm going to start watching her closely.
Just speaking of bad DJ jokes. So what is the one of the oldest cliched jokes is "Hello, Cleveland." Yeah, it doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah.
Kamala Harris was literally in Cleveland yesterday. It's a little hard to hear, and I couldn't find the full clip. So I'll tell you what happens, and then see if you can catch what's weird at the end. So she gets out of the cop car. She's all borderline illegal because there's a line for people to go into the polling place, and she stands on the other side of the road with a megaphone and is yelling. But
that's illegal. That's electioneering. It's illegal.
Yep. Well, she did it. But what's funny is if you can hear it in this clip, she starts off, it's only 9 seconds, has the megaphone, turns to the guy and says, "Where are we, Cleveland?" I swear to God, it's the funniest thing. And then at the end, something odd.
Hey, Cleveland! It's Kamala!
Now, it was cut off, which pisses me off, because she says, "It's Kamala." She says, "It's Kamala." Her name,
Kamala?
Her name is Kamala. Kamala. She is Kamala. She says it.
That's what I said in one of the shows. I don't know how she pronounces it.
She pronounces her name differently, her own name differently every single time. Hello, is this Cleveland? I wish you could hear that better. It's hilarious when you see the video. Hey, man, is this Cleveland? Hello, Cleveland! Like you are Spinal Tap, lady. You're Spinal Tap. You're phony. You're fake. Oy. I have... Oh, speaking of the pod. Joe did a big pod with Pod Save America. He did a full episode, or as they call it, a pod. And I just thought this was ironic.
We're going to invest $5 billion a year in cancer research. We're going to cure cancer. Mark my words.
Okay, let's just mark those words.
Man,
I hope he wins.
Really promises a lot.
He's going to cure cancer, but wait.
We're in a situation where, as you know, I ran the moonshot for the president. And what happened was we found significant breakthroughs. Everybody in the past walked by the mirror and looked in the mirror and saw a Nobel Prize about to be won. Great scientists, but they didn't share much information. They virtually didn't share any information. Well, that's all changing now. It's changing drastically. And we're going to have to invest in dealing with the things that affect the mental, physical, and environmental health of the country. And we can do that.
What? He's going to fix Alzheimer's and cure cancer. That's what he said. He's going to fix Alzheimer's. We can fix it.
What's the moonshot is he talking about?
He was, President Obama put him in charge of the cancer moonshot. He was supposed to cure cancer the last time, and he didn't do it. What a liar.
I just really do not understand anyone what the rationale is for voting for this guy ever. But okay.
We have a number of classical musicians who listen to and also produce this show, high-end classical musicians who are on the circuit. You know, the circuit, of course, is pretty much dead.
Yes, and they're not happy.
So Fugu, F-U-G-U-E, Fugu. I don't know who Fugu is, but Fugu is from the UK and got all of his classical musician friends to send in their tracks and did a whole new, just a whole mix of a classic song. And they put it on YouTube. I'll just play a little bit of it just to show you what they are using their talents for. Their God-given talent, violinists, vocalists, just beautiful music, and this is what they do. Can you understand what they're singing?
No, not really.
Donald Trump is a wanker. That's the only lyric. And it goes on for 6 minutes. High-end classical stuff. Donald Trump is a wanker.
Oh, brother. Number 2. Number 3.
Yeah, I think that's 2 more. That may be 4, actually.
Oh, I don't think so.
And rounding out this this series of clips from me is a trailer
Trump is a wanker.
It's a trailer from the plot against the president.
By the way, before you leave that clip, I do have a clip.
Oh, okay.
That kind of relates to this. This is an ISO I have. This is Trump first time.
Oh, yes.
First time I've ever pulled it out.
Oh, yeah. He knows. He knows what he's doing, man.
It goes in with the rest of these slightly lewd comments.
Now, is that your end of show ISO candidates?
No, here's my ISO candidates. First of all, I got somebody said, you got to listen to the latest Sophia with an F and see if you can pull some. I got really nothing except this. Wild Crazy. This is ISO.
Okay.
Wild Crazy.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
It's very good. She's so precise with the way she speaks.
No, it's pretty good. It's not very good. It's pretty good.
I liked it. It's the only thing that was in the show.
Do you have any other candidates?
Yeah, I do have one. I got Pelosi. I got a Pelosi ISO.
Nancy. Here's what I have.
Well, I'm sick and tired of smart guys.
I thought that was a good one, too.
Okay, that wins. Never mind.
That's Joe Biden at his best, isn't it? Sick and tired.
Totally. Although I think my Pelosi ISO comes pretty close.
Yeah, but still. So everyone started texting me. Oh my God, you've got to see this documentary, The Plot Against the President. Which I knew about this. I knew it was coming out. It is a true documentary. It has all the players on the Republican side, obviously. Sadly, with Sebastian Gorka, who I think whenever I hear that voice, I think credibility just drops by a couple points.
Yes,
even though I don't know the guy, and he's probably super duper smart.
I had the same effect when I hear DeGenoa.
It's like you should just cut those guys out. I think Mike Cernovich is a co-producer on this. What was interesting, The Plot Against the President came out, and it was like, it's on Netflix. So I grabbed the Roku remote, and I do the voice search. No title found like that. It talks now, the Roku remote search. I didn't know that. Nothing found on that title. So, okay, go. Maybe they haven't updated. By the way, the Roku guy, super, super Democratic Party promoter, liberal, etc. Then I
wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, go into Netflix. Now we know who runs Netflix. And I searched for The Plot. I had to go down 16 spots before it showed up in the search algo. It's like, come on, guys. We know.
Cheaters.
We get it already. We know. Yeah. I just wanted to find it.
The woke tech.
Yeah, the woke tech. So here's the trailer. It's a very good documentary. There are things in there that I didn't know. I had no idea that the minute Flynn was still being interviewed by the FBI and people had figured out that it was being entrapped. They knew it from that moment on.
There was an illusion being created using the most awesome tools and the greatest tricks that the American intelligence community had learned to use against our enemies. Now it was being deployed against the American people and our president.
This is the biggest political scandal in modern history, which makes Watergate look like a tiff.
The FBI director has no credibility.
The left used to not trust the FBI, and now they love them.
If this can happen to General Michael T. Flynn, imagine what they do to anybody who has a single strike against them.
35 Russian diplomats in the U.S. expelled.
The prosecution of General Flynn wasn't a pursuit of criminal activity. It was a setup.
Flynn actually had details. So he was talking about going after people's budgets. They were terrified.
Media didn't start as neutral. Media hasn't been neutral all its life.
The two faces of Hillary Clinton are coming out. The fact through WikiLeaks that she says one thing and
oh no. They worked hand in glove with Comey to try to delegitimize Trump. They were not there to tell the truth.
A political dirty trick is being carried out by our intelligence community.
Honestly, none of us really know, sort of holistically, what to think about this dossier.
They went into Congress. They said, there's nothing here. Doesn't matter. We'll keep going with FISA.
We'll keep going with the investigation, and more importantly, we will go on TV day in and day out and lie to the American people to their face, and nothing's going to happen to us.
The nation and all of our freedoms hang by a thread, and the military apparatus of this country is about to be handed over to scum who are beholden to scum, Russian scum.
Our favorite Keith Olbermann at the end. Very good documentary. I wish there was a counter documentary that I could watch about the same topics that was a counter documentary that countered this narrative. A lot of it is public footage, C-SPAN footage. It's the politicians who you've seen talking about this stuff, as you really kind of never seen them before. And it's the way they tell the story, man, that's some bad stuff that went down there. It's really deceptive. But only to the public. I mean, for what was going on was within the halls of Congress, etc. It was just plain as day what they were doing. Plain as day.
Well, I think that's what you expressed in one of the earlier clips. We had that, I think her name was Sarah, the reporter that was getting into it with seltzer water.
Oh, yes. Yeah, exactly.
She pretty much said the same thing.
Quick little BLM. I was just going to do a quick little BLM noodle gun update. Just to laugh for ourselves.
Okay.
I'm gonna shoot you in the face with my noodle gun, you racist piece of shit. I got my pasta Glock locked and loaded.
So there's really only one noodle gun, but I think we have a noodle gun in the making, which is when some virtue signal goes horribly wrong. Tampax, who used to be my client, Tampax, gosh, I mean, we came up with some fun stuff with them back in the day. I've said it many times on the show. We built Tampax.com, the website you visit more than once a month. And I was very proud of the work. But now, this is what's happened with Tampax on Twitter. Here's their tweet. Fact. Not all women have periods. Also a fact. Not all people with periods are women. Let's celebrate the diversity of all people who bleed.
Oh, brother.
Yeah, 5th time. Write it down. That's 5. It's 5-0 brothers.
It's what?
It's 5-0 brothers. You just said, oh, brother again.
Oh, no, that's actually 4.
But it was warranted.
But wait, I'll give you credit. I'll give you credit for the one missed because it's possible because I missed that one, that I missed another one. So I'll count that as 5.
Okay.
So I'm not saying that anymore today.
But the noodle gun of the week is the email from the CEO of Expensify.
Oh, what an idiot.
Oh, my lordy. I mean, it's too long to read in its entirety, but it was a virtue signal so loud and so biased and so hateful and so wrong, saying, and sent to all his customers. And Expensify is a very interesting company because they took a lot of the expense out of expense reports and just dealing with a corporation. And these guys also hold a lot of their, personal, private, and information that needs to be kept secure. And he sent out this note to, I just want to see if I could get
10 million customers.
Is it 10 million customers?
Yep.
And it was just a Trump hate fest. And people were very put off by this, and not just people who support Trump or I would say the majority.
No, there was both sides of the aisle because it's very offensive to have something like this happen when they're holding all your personal data.
Yeah, it was, and just unbelievable that he did that. And so I think he got the noodle gun.
So the company is in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy was on defending himself. You know where he's actually from, apparently?
No. Tell me it's like Houston or something.
Portland.
Surprise, surprise. Jeez.
Yeah, you're in that Portland area. You're just dumb. You don't, your perception of reality is just skewed.
Okay.
So, yeah, I got a kick out of that.
Yeah. All right. Do you have anything before we take our next break?
Sure. Yeah, I wanted to play was a funny kind of a clip here. This was one of the old tech TV mavens, Amber MacArthur, now calls herself Amber Mac, managed to get a discussion with Trudeau.
Oh.
And they put it on, it's like a podcast kind of thing. And so here she is with Trudeau, and Trudeau kind of does a...
Now, is Amber Mac, is she Scandinavian?
Yeah.
Okay, that explains it.
And she's talking to Trudeau, and it's kind of like the truth wants to come out. I got it. It's just kind of clear in this clip.
Technology to give people agency that they can actually do things to...
app. Let's start there as far as how that can help Canadians.
Well, we heard from the very beginning that different countries were developing apps, and we were really interested in how we can use technology to give people a sense of agency that they can actually do things to affect the spread of COVID-19 around them. So there was attempts to use GPS and geolocations and all sorts of different things that ended up bringing privacy concerns and really draining the batteries in other countries' apps. So we decided to take a slightly different approach, putting privacy first and keeping it anonymous, but going on contacts. So the way it works is if you actually end up close to someone for 15 minutes and then a few days later they test positive, you might have been exposed without knowing it. The app will anonymously let you know that you were exposed to someone or potentially exposed to someone.
Stop. The app will anonymously let you know? That's some horse crap right there.
And a few days later...
Yeah, you got to back it up from that point a little bit because the punchline's coming.
Sorry.
So the way it works is if you actually, end up close to someone for 15 minutes and then a few days later they test positive, you might have been exposed without knowing it. The app will anonymously let you know that you were exposed to someone or potentially exposed to someone who then tested positive, and maybe you should test positive as well. But it's been totally anonymized. There's no identifiers within the app for you. And you won't know who or when you might have been exposed, just that you might have been exposed. And then it's your choice whether or not you put in the information, but we encourage people to. But everything about it is voluntary. Everything about it is anonymous. And that's why it's getting such a high rating for protecting privacy and being a powerful tool.
I would like to make a comment for all of you who are fresh, new, young-faced podcasters. If you're considering doing a podcast, just know that even after 60, 70 years since it was first done, a boing always works. There's nothing wrong with editing a boing into a clip. And I applaud you for that, John C. Dvorak, for keeping this art alive.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab.
Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
Yes, and Boeing selection is also part of the process. We have a bunch of people to thank for show 1289. I'm going to run right through them as fast as I can. We do have a few more clips we got to play. But we'll start with Drazen Urch. Looks like he's in Hong Kong, I guess, maybe. 169. I can't tell where he's from. Brian Edeline, 133.33. Anonymous in Bonham, Texas, 131.31. Derek Vonderhaar, but he's in Fairview Heights, Illinois, not Holland. 130.33. And these are the 130s. These 131s are the ones that are thanking us for doing the show. Anonymous writes, it comes in with $130.33. And he says, John did a bit on my last name and how to pronounce it a couple of months ago. Okay. Mark Hall, your buddy in Austin, Texas, our buddy, 130.31. David Langford in Lander, Wyoming, 130.13. Sir John Knowles, the Baron of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, 130. Sir Acid of the Scandinavian Woods, Curtis, Ontario, 130. Sir Thomas and Dame Chantel in Kingsburg, California, 130. These are 130s. I'll just read them off. They're all 130s till we run out of them. And these are all congratulatory. Sir Thomas and Dame Chantal, Sir Eric of the Falls in Lineborough, Maryland, Derek Shannell, Jason Majot in Chelmsford, Ontario, Sir Kevin McLaughlin, Duke of Luna, Alexander Merkuriev, Sir Mac and Dame Lauren in Uddenton, Maryland, Willie Thunison in Holland.
Thunison.
You probably have a better pronunciation of the name than I do. Bob Bruner in Puyallup, Washington. Matthew Januszewski, Sir Matthew in Chicago. Sir Carl of Cary in Cary, North Carolina. Sir Pindernet of the Lucky 33, of the Lucky 13, I'm sorry. He's in Springfield, Virginia. He's got a birthday. Dame Andrea and Sir Kelly Garner in Rocky Mountain House, Alberta. Matt Losey in Odessa, Florida. Sir Brian Tobiason in Gardner, Kansas. Robert Donahue, parts unknown. Dame Patricia Worthington's regular comes in again from Miami. Sean Smith in Belmont, North Carolina. Lots of North Carolinians listen to this show and produce it. Jason Petrie in Rock Springs, Wyoming. Sir Code Monkey in Renner, Colorado. Sir Christopher Kessler in Marshfield, Wisconsin. David Flynn in El Paso. That's our group of well-wishers with $130. A lot of these people are also saying congrats, including Justin Budzinski in Mishawaka, Indiana. Joseph D. Verniero, I'm thinking, in Cornelius, North Carolina. 11133. Michael Brown in Highlands Ranch, Colorado. 100. Jesse Smith, 7777. Jason Fenwick, Washington, D.C., 77.77. He needs a dedouching.
Yep, hold on.
You've been de-douched.
David Deloria in Santa Clarita, California. He needs an F cancer. We'll put that at the end for you.
Coming up.
Sir Nathan Lee Miller Foster in Norwood, Massachusetts. 6666. Twin 33s. David Forbes in Shakopee, Minnesota. Minnesota Nuts, 6006, small boobs. Donald Francis, 5903 in Chandler, Arizona. Donald Francis also in Chandler, Arizona again, 5510. I'm not sure how this came about, but he did. Thank you for the nice double donation. Tony the Catch Stokely in Arlington, Texas, 55. Sir Jonathan of the Double Bladed Paddle in Maplewood, Missouri, 5432. Jason Fenwick, 5432. We also have a health karma request from Sir Jonathan. We'll put that in at the end. He's got a broken wrist. Jason Fenwick in Washington, D.C., 5432. Stephen King, not the author, in Charlotte, North Carolina. He makes note of the number of Stevens that listen to the show. Mm-hmm. Sir Eric V. The funny thing is, the Eagle Scout when I was a kid was named Stephen. Sir Eric V.M. Baron around the valley in Van Nuys, California, 5333. Chris Worth in Aurora, Colorado, 5280. 5280 refers to Mile High, by the way. Mm-hmm. And he's in Aurora, Colorado. It says, can't afford to be as high as Hunter Biden, but here's a Mile High donation. John Gaynor in Aldie, Virginia, 5280. Another Mile High donation. Don Mills in Shasta Lake, 5150. Nicole Tergabriel.
Nikolai Tergabrielian.
Nikolai, 50. Now, these are $50 donors, name and location, and just run through them. Alexander P. McMahon in Nelson, B.C. Jesus Allen in Austin, Texas. Todd Grubb in Capic, Michigan. John Lawrence. Alexa Delgado in Aptos, California. Jared Wolf in Milburn, New Jersey. Sandra Emmons in Lakeside, California. Robley Hall in Hillsborough, North Carolina. Magdalena Sarnas in Belleville, New
Jersey.
Belleville. Brooke Knepper in Boise, Idaho. Boise. Sir Richard Hufford in Tempe, Arizona. That's our group of producers for show 1289. We want to thank each and every one of them for helping us get this show off the ground, and also for helping us celebrate 13th
anniversary. And I did want to go back to Jared Wolf's note, inspired to donate after Curry brought up CBDCs, the central bank digital coins. I work in fintech with a product centered around the Ethereum network. My boss throws literature at me all the time about rollout of digital currencies in countries like Sweden and Brazil, feasibility of cashless societies, growing prominence of payment alternatives like WeChat in China. The CCP payments market is basically a wet dream for bankers, total control shrouded behind the veil of reduced financial crime. Bitcoin and other decentralized systems are the only hope when social credit scores start allowing banks to take your house away. Sorry, John, there's no stopping this train. All we can do is get ahead of the curve and build silos that protect us. Cash died in 1971, he says. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you to all these producers. Also, the producers came in under $50, many for anonymity. You'll see the $49.99, so we see them, you don't. And people who continuously support us on sustaining donations, which you can find at Dvorak.org/NA. A couple of make goods. Finally got the make good for Sir Brian. He will be knighted today, Baron of the Connecticut River Valley. No, I'm sorry. Yes. No, he had a make do for his birthday. I've got that one on the list. We had Sir Brian Michael Goodell. That's what I'm looking for. Michael Goodell, who sent us a very long note. And he says, anywho, a couple of definitions for you. Now, I just lost my place here. And he will be knighted today as Sir Crush-a-Lot. So we'll get that set up for him. I've flown to California several times since the COVID pandemic set in. As cancer ran a race with dementia in my father, cancer came in first at the end of August. I'm sorry to hear that. A horrible thing to witness. I would happily accept an F cancer. Other than that, no jingles, no karma, and you are on deck for your knighting today, Michael.
You've got karma.
And a make good for our bosom lady. Now, what was her name? I don't. I wish I had her name here now. Gosh darn it.
Get in the vortex.
Well, she was the one, the bosom was spelled B-O with an umlaut S-O-M or something like that. I was hit in the mouth with my smoking hot husband, who I gleefully obliged to call out as a douchebag. In support of the breast podcast in the universe, I'm sending a sextuple boob donation to the highest breast cancer awareness month on behalf of my company, Bosom Wellness, which produces education and CBD products for breast well-being. Let's rally the Gitmo Nation to blow up the rest of October with boob donations for breast health. And I'm hoping one of our expert producers can do us all the delight of creating an ISO of John saying, I like boobs, or Biden saying we try our breast. Well, we didn't get that. May I request some legal karma? I've got information. New shit has come to light. Too delicious. And, of course, my de-douching, which is here.
You've been de-douched.
I've got information, man. New shit has come to light.
It's almost too delicious to believe, my friend.
You've got karma.
Okay, there we go. Now, I think we have done... Oh, no, I wanted to mention I went to my P.O. box, and I wanted to cross-reference with you, John, if you have received what you needed to receive. First of all, thank you, Jambo Joe, for some Rogan spray, if you know what I mean. Thank you to the producer who is anonymous, who sent me the X37B challenge coins and patch. Those are pretty unique. And I got my Joker comics in, signed by the artist. Did you get yours?
Yes, I did. It's beautiful.
And did you do a Joker signature on a playing card for you as well?
I believe so.
Yeah, it was so beautiful. They're out now. We'll not expose his name, but there are collector's items of the brand new Joker series, Batman comics, with some interesting no agenda memes, such as 33 right there on the cover, and we are tickled pink about it. Thank you all so very much, and of course, we'd love to see you on Thursday for more support for the best podcast in the universe. You can find that information at
Dvorak.org/NA.
It's your birthday. Oh, no agenda.
Here is the list that I have compiled for you, or that the back office has compiled for us. Sir Pindernet says happy birthday to his smoking hot wife, Heather. She celebrated on the 23rd. Tony the Cat Stokely, his birthday was yesterday. Kasha Jaletska, 42 today. Happy birthday, Kasha. David Coonan, 33 tomorrow. Paul Branham says happy birthday to his smoking hot singer-songwriter wife, Joanna Marvel. She will be celebrating tomorrow. And his brilliant daughter, Allie Danger, who will be celebrating on November 16th. Sir Brian Barron of the Connecticut and River Valley, 33, belated for him on the 20th. Vinny Padula's guide dog, Liberty, turns 5 years old today. Tomorrow actually shares No Agenda with the guide dog's birthday. And Craig Scholl turns 40 today. Happy birthday from everybody here at the best podcast in the universe. Woo! Let's see. We have a couple of Knights and Dames, and this will be a special 13th anniversary Knighting and Daming.
Yikes.
Hello?
Yikes.
Oh, yeah, but where's your sword? You can yikes all you want.
Okay. I'm
waiting for your sword.
You know, I put it aside and oh, here it is. Okay. I got it.
Up on the podium, Heidi Schreiber, Paul Schreiber, Craig Scholla, Christian Lair, and Michael Goodell. All of you are about to enter the very illustrious group of the No Agenda Knights and Dames. You know what that means, that you will join our round table and all of its benefits after I pronounce the Dame of Queen Creek and King of Queen Creek, Sir Craig, Knight of the Fisherman, Sir Christian of Phoenix, and Sir Crushalot, Knight of the Lena Anau Grapefields, and he is a Black Knight. For you, we've got Hookers and Blow, Rent Boys, and Chardonnay. We also have Gruda and Glenfiddich, Pierogies, and Iron City Beer, and we got some vodka, vanilla, sparkling cider, and escort, ginger ale, and gerbils, and mutton and mead. Even on this 13th anniversary, we always have the mutton and the mead for our round table for our Knights and Dames. And please go to noagendanation.com/rings, and Eric the Shill will take care of you. He will make sure that you get your ring, your sealing wax, in addition to that, your certificate that makes it all real. It is just like a party, and we got one coming up. Love the promos.
Do you like spending time with underinformed consumers of the M5M? Watching MSNBC?
But resist, we must.
Reading the New York Times?
The New York Times is a liberal paper.
Bitching about climate change?
People are suffering. People are dying.
No, 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 hell no!
Then join us on Halloween for the October KC meetup, starting at 3:33 p.m. at Knucklehead Saloon in the East Bottoms. For more event details, click on over to noagendameetups.com. It's like a party.
I get a kick out of I like the meetup reports. I think the promos are such an excellent use of talent. I'd
like to keep them down to 15 seconds.
15?
Yeah.
That's pretty short. This is what. Let's see. How long do you think? How long did this one feel to you?
Well, how long are they?
Well, no, I'm asking you. How long did it was? You felt it was too long.
The last one felt like it was 30 seconds.
Okay, no, then good. But you want it even shorter than that?
Oh, yeah. It's like Sunday. Those ads were never more than 15 seconds.
Okay. Here's a list of meetups coming up today. Arlington, Virginia has a new location, so you're probably already there. Guapos in Shirlington. And you're hanging out with Sir William of West Pennsylvania. Now, tomorrow, we have also a new listing, Denver Roving Meetup at 6 o'clock. And John and Taylor organizing that. Check out noagendameetups.com for more information. On the 30th, Friday, Bellingham, Washington, Spooky Times, 7:30, the Twin Sisters Brewery. On the 31st, that'll be next Saturday, El Dia de los Muertos. Flight 008 Long Beach, 3:33 p.m., Steelcraft City of Long Beach. Leo Bravo is your organizer. They've been doing this a couple times. Also on the 31st, Knuckleheads Halloween Takeover, Kansas City, Missouri. Well, we heard this. And the Tiny Amygdalas will be assembling in Anchorage at 1 p.m. Alaska time. This is the pre-election meetup at Fire Tap Ale House on Sunday, November 1st. Lane is organizing that, and also on Sunday, the first Philadelphia Local 76, Get Out the Hoax, Slavery for President 2020, 6 p.m. Eastern at the Good Dog Bar, Sir Scatman of Norristown organizing that. And for those of you interested, there will be a virtual election meetup on November 3rd at noagendasocial.com and their Jitsi sit-up. And there's plenty more on the list for the month of November. Check it out at noagendameetups.com. If you can't find one near you, all you got to do is start one. It's easy, and it's like a party. noagendameetups.com.
Sometimes you want to go hang out with all the nights and days. You want to be where you won't be triggered or held to blame. You want to be where everybody feels the same.
It's like a party.
It's like a party.
I don't have a clip of this, but I did want to mention, since we haven't talked about it, that there's quite a kerfuffle going on in the Catholic Church, as the Pope has come out and said, hey, I think same-sex marriage is fine. We should have something to figure that out. And in January, I think he publishes his big white paper, whatever that thing is called. I call it the Pope's white paper. And there's a lot of people are very upset by this and are not liking the Pope. And I've got my eye on it, and thank you for keeping me up to speed and letting me know what everybody thinks. But I have not heard anything positive so far about this.
Well, there's probably a number of priests that think it's great.
Maybe, yes, that is possible. That is possible.
Yeah, I have no thoughts on that.
I have one Trump news item that was, of course, not covered, really. This is now his third deal in the Middle East peace process. And the New York Times had a great headline about this. It was like, well, he put this together, but, since like...
You're going to talk about the Sudan deal?
Yeah, the Sudan deal.
Before you talk about it, I actually have a clip from that meeting.
I have a clip too.
Okay, well, you play your clip. But I always want to mention that I'm floating around. I'm on YouTube picking up some clips, and it says on the little sidebar says live, and there was Trump live at the Oval Office, and he's on the phone with Netanyahu, the Sudanese guy, and somebody else. And they're doing this deal, and they're making a big fuss. There's a bunch of reporters there, and everyone knows it's going on. I'm surprised it was undercovered as much as it was, because it's kind of a big deal.
Well,
so I'm watching this. So I go and I get lunch or something. I come back like about an hour and a half later, and I go look on the side of the sidebar. Live, Trump's doing a rally in Florida. So he obviously, and I have to assume he does this sort of thing. He ends this meeting, jumps on that chopper, and either goes straight to Florida or they drop him off on the big jet. I guess it's the big jet.
No,
he flies to Florida.
Takes the jet, yeah.
He's like, this guy's got more energy than anyone I've ever seen as president.
He did 3 rallies yesterday.
Yes,
three.
He did three.
And as we're going to bed last night,
and they're not near each other.
No. He's got to fly to each one. As we were going to bed last night, and yesterday was a busy day for me, including, MoFax and just a whole bunch of stuff, and then to the banker, and it was late. And I'm getting ready for bed. It's 11:30, which is late, certainly for show night. And I say, how does Trump do it? He's 20 years older than me. He's got to be jacked on bennies and burgers. I don't know what he's taken, but I'd like to try it. And of course he doesn't drink. Never has had a drink, so maybe that's it. But holy moly, that's impressive. Anyway, so here's some news that you didn't hear.
The State of Israel and the Republic of Sudan have agreed to make peace. This is for many, many years. They've been at odds, to put it nicely, and to normalize their relations. This will be the third country where we're doing this, and we have many, many more coming. They're coming at us hot and heavy. In the coming weeks, they will meet to negotiate cooperation agreements. You saw that happen with UAE and Bahrain recently in agriculture, technology, aviation, migration, and other critical areas. The Sudanese transitional government has demonstrated its commitment to combating terrorism, creating market economy, and developing the democratic institution that is becoming. Today's deal builds on those commitments and marks a pivotal turning point in Sudan's history. This is, I would say, one of the great days in the history of Sudan. This is an incredible deal for Israel and Sudan. For decades, Sudan has been at a state of war with Israel. They have been in a state of war and boycotted Israeli goods. There was no relationship whatsoever. Today's peace agreement will enhance Israel's security and end Sudan's long isolation from the world because of what was taking place. It will unlock new opportunities for trade and commerce, education and research and cooperation.
Now, this is what I like about what President Trump does with these deals. Instead of, a week at Camp David and going back and forth, and then he stands in the middle and then he makes sure everyone shakes their hand. We've seen it with Reagan. We saw it with Carter. We saw it with everybody. He puts together a deal. Okay, you're going to get landing rights for your planes there. You're going to share this water. He does all based upon business and commerce. And so what does the New York Times say about this great deal? Well, it falls short because there was no agreement to open up embassies in each other's country. That's their response. What a bunch of dicks. It's unbelievable. He has such a different approach to this stuff. That's his approach for America, too. I like what he said. Success will bring us together. Maybe. But at least it's an approach that is simple and fits on one cue card. Not a whole plan, thousands of pages of stuff.
Yeah, no, you want to just get the ball rolling.
In and out,
Let
done.
them do the deals about moving the embassies or moving embassies.
Who cares? Exactly.
What's it got to do with us?
Nothing.
Yeah, they like to do that, those guys.
Yeah, they do.
I have one more No Agenda classic. I do have a couple more clips to play before we wrap.
Okay.
But let's play this last classic. I'm not sure what this one is, but this is the No Agenda 2009. This was played on the show. This is an archive. This is a gay men clip.
Let's take a look at our victim. Which group does Dante look like? The men on the left or the men on the right?
The men on the left.
Oh, you have a sixth sense. By that I mean you see gay people.
You think Dante's gay?
Yeah, and so do you. All the men on the left are gay. A new study in the Journal of Experimental Psychology showed that most people can identify gay men by face alone. It has to do with the pattern of muscle tension in the face.
Wow, we were on that in 2009, way before the algos figured that out.
Yes, and this was from one of the Law and Order shows, and they were grilling one of the lawyers, and I think, and then that's when they just dropped this little bomb in the middle of the show, and I clipped in and we put it on the show, and it was we've used this as a model for yes, you can look at someone and not always, but often enough, tell if they're gay or not, and so what? So what's the big deal?
Yeah, but that really broke
11 years ago.
I mean, that's crazy. We were on the gay face tip before the algos were.
Yeah.
Huh. Good work. Us. Good work, us.
John and Adam.
Good work, us.
I have some Trump speech stuff that's kind of interesting. I mean, he's got this little gag he did. Trump in Florida again. You heard about this?
Again.
Changing the hat.
Under my administration, we built the greatest economy in the history of the world, and now we're doing it again. So it's called Make America Great Again. Right? Make America great again. So we're going to change all the hats. You're going to have to go out and buy a new one. It's going to have again, comma, again, exclamation point.
I hadn't heard this gag.
Yeah. And that'll be coming out. The hat, I'm sure.
I can understand how your LibJo friends are just incensed about that stuff. I bet it just makes them shiver.
Makes them They probably have the Shudder.
Shudder. Yeah, that's it.
I got two more Trump clips before I have two really good clips.
Okay.
You got any more stuff for the end?
No, I'm good.
Oh, okay,
I'm waiting for you.
Out then with these. Here, this is the Trump riffing on this middle class women love me, that you should love me, which everybody condemned him for. And he's joking mostly. And this is in Florida where he's really putting on a good show. And this is Trump in Florida riffing number 1.
Suburban women, you should love me, because somebody said I'm not doing that well with suburban women. I said, why? Last time I was supposed to be doing terribly with women. Then I got 52%. They said, what the hell happened with Trump and women all of a sudden? Remember, they said Trump did well with women. So, now they go. So I kid. I say, please, suburban women, please love me, suburban women. I want you to love me. Because I got rid of the regulation that's going to destroy your neighborhood. You don't want to have projects next to your house. You don't want to have crime in the suburbs, etc., right? So I go on 60 Minutes and she says, Leslie Stahl, that's another beauty. She goes, you were begging suburban women to love you, weren't you? I said, no, I was just having fun. We were just having fun. These people are sick. They are bad. But they want to decimate Florida seniors, all seniors, okay? And by the way, what I've done for suburban women, but suburban people that live in the suburbs, that's really the dream. That's the American dream. And 30% of the people, because people say, oh, is that racist? 30% of the people living in the suburbs are minority groups. Hispanic American, Black American.
It's true.
Think of it. Asian American, 31% are from minority groups. For years, Joe Biden fought to cut your Social Security. He wanted to cut it. He wanted to knock it out. And Medicare, a fact which Joe is now falsely denied. You notice? Oh, I loved it yesterday, the way he denied that. So does that mean you want to get rid of fossil fuel, Joe? Yes, that's what it means. Oh, thank you. This debate, let's end it. Let's end it right now.
What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, the 60 Minutes interview. I watched, of course, his iPhone video. It's unusable for the show, unfortunately. The audio is just not good enough. It's not good enough. But that's a trick I've employed myself, and you have to do it when you go on into a hostile situation like that.
This has been done a number of times on 60 Minutes. Mm-hmm. They and I can't remember the story, but this was during the Reagan administration. Somebody had pulled this stunt. They brought somebody on to 60 Minutes, and they edited the whole thing down. And I was told this story by somebody that was in that administration, actually. And they were going to run this really damning story because it was all edited down. And then they said, well, we made a copy of the original thing, and we're going to roll this out if you roll out that. And they pulled the whole thing.
Well, Trump just rolled it out. That was
I know. He
pretty funny.
Took a different approach.
Like, hey, I don't like you.
No quid pro quos with Trump. Just roll it out. Screw you.
But also, and Megyn Kelly had a pretty good breakdown of that video, which is worth listening to. She's a podcaster.
I have the second part of this riffing. I don't know what's on it, but there's something on here.
Right now, by the way, I got treated I thought, very fairly by the anchor. I thought, right? Kristen, I was surprised. She's been a little bit rough on me over the years. I was surprised, but her, network has been crazy. NBC, Comcast, C-O-N, Comcast. But I thought Kristen did a very good job yesterday. Some people said she interrupted me much more than she interrupted Sleepy Joe. But that's because he didn't have that much to say. But no, I thought she was fair. I said it during the show. I said, I think you've handled it very professionally. It's not easy. So today I want to show you Joe Biden's own words. The video I'm about to play was created by Bernie Sanders, Crazy Bernie. Bernie's the single greatest loser. The way he loses, he gets Sportsmanship of the Year, right? What they did to him 4 years ago was quite terrible. What they did to him this year was even... Then he just goes back to Congress and talks. He's Crazy Bernie. A lot of his people are going to come with us because you know why? They love our trade policy. Because he, like me, understands how badly we've been taken advantage of by other countries, including our allies, by the way. The video I'm about to play was created by Crazy Bernie earlier this year to expose Joe Biden's atrocious record and his egregious lies. Go ahead. Play it. Mr. DeMille.
Okay, so he started this with his Erie, Pennsylvania rally, and I have a copy of that, where he's starting to use multimedia, and I am stunned. This is basically clips. Mm-hmm. And he started with the Erie one. Most of these don't go well when they played on C-SPAN because they don't mic them well. But the one in Erie, where he plays not this particular clip, he plays the Biden talking about fossil fuels clip. I do have it if you want to play that.
Yeah, of course
Trump
I do.
using multimedia. And this is where he first does it. And this is where he whips it out, he says.
I had it done.
Oops, sorry.
No, you can just let it go, yeah.
Specifically for the people of Erie, because you guys like energy. You like being energy independent. Do you like that? Energy? That's we don't need all these faraway lands and everything else. We are now energy independent, and we're going to keep it that way. Take a look at this clip. We had it made up, and I think you'll like. First time I've ever done this, right? First time. Go ahead, wherever it is, put it up.
Would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated and no more subsidies for either one of those. I guarantee you, we're going to end fossil fuel. No new fracking. I'd gradually move away from fracking.
And I think it's critically important on day one that we end any fossil fuel leases on public lands.
What about, say, stopping fracking and stopping pipeline infrastructure and
They want to do the same thing I want to do. They want to phase out fossil fuels, and we're going to phase out fossil fuels.
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
And what we don't show is his more current version. Oh, yes, we'll have fracking. And the fake news, they don't do anything about it. They don't even talk to him about it.
Yeah, that was a low light during the debate. Put it on your website. Okay, I'll put it on my website. There's two 70-year-old guys bitching about their websites. Give me a break. Sad. That was sad. Put it on your website. I will put it on my website.
It is pretty sad.
Old geezers.
Okay, now I have
embarrassing.
Done
really.
with the 13th anniversary show.
Okay.
Now, we've talked about this before. There's guys like Ray McGovern, the ex-CIA guy. They've been banished from Democracy Now! And all. They're progressives. These are progressive people I'm talking about. We have Stephen Cohen, who now recently died without being able to discuss Russia much because he's blackballed from all the progressive shows.
Yeah.
Amy Goodman used to have these people on all the time. And one of the people she used to have on all the time, and a lot of other people, CNN would have this guy on, MSNBC would have this guy on, and that's Glenn Greenwald.
Oh, is this the rant he did the other day?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is good. This is very good. This is very good.
So Glenn Greenwald, a progressive that came from Salon, that's where he kind of got his
he's a
writing
super
chops
lefty,
down.
super lefty.
Super lefty, as left as it gets. Can't get a word in on any of these because he's like Matt Taibbi, who's extremely progressive. Mm-hmm. And Matt Taibbi's writings of late and all of his essays that he's been coming out with have been like, what's wrong with the media? These people won't, they won't publish me. They won't talk to anybody who's actually a journalist. They just have all this propaganda. They're propaganda arms. So it seems to me you really gotta swallow your pride if you're Glenn Greenwald, because he ends up showing up on Tucker Carlson. Tucker will have him on,
sure.
Even though Amy won't have him on, she'll have on some shills instead in a dishonest report that we play at the beginning of the show. So let's listen to Tucker and Greenwald, and there's two parters. One's just kind of an intro, and the second one is the one you're talking about, which is his rant, and it is worth listening to.
Glenn Greenwald is the co-founder of The Intercept. We're happy to have him on tonight. Glenn, thanks for coming on. I've seen a fair bit of the material on this laptop. And the response by the media, and particularly by the so-called intel community, strikes me as much more threatening to America than anything on this laptop. Do you think that's an appropriate response to what we're watching?
I couldn't agree more, Tucker. First of all, Adam Schiff is seriously the most pathological liar in all of American politics that I have seen in all of my time covering politics and journalism. He just fabricates and accusations at the drop of a hat, the way that other people change underwear. He's simply lying when he just asserts over and over that the Russians or the Kremlin are behind this story. He has no idea whether or not that's true. There's no evidence to support it. And what makes it so much worse is that the reason the Bidens aren't answering basic questions about this story, basic questions like, did Hunter Biden drop that laptop off at that repair shop? Are the emails authentic? Do you deny that they are? Do you claim any have been altered or any of them fabricated? Did you in fact meet with Burisma executives as these emails suggest? The reason that they don't answer any questions is because the media has signaled that they don't have to, that journalists will be attacked and vilified simply for asking.
A point of production, a production note. I really like the look of Glenn Greenwald's microphone. I'd like to know what it is because it looks great, but he overmodulates on it. I'd like to help him with that, but it looks kind of an old-timey microphone, only matte black. Have you noticed this?
Look, I think it might be a Shure. I could take a look at it.
It looks good, but
maybe whatever.
when he gets on the rant, it just, he needs to fist that thing.
Yeah. Well, he does. His mic techniques are no good.
Yeah.
That was the end of the whole clip?
That was the end of clip 1.
Okay, well, here we go. This is where Tucker brings it up a notch, and Greenwald just goes off.
What do you make of the role of the so-called intel community, unnamed sources from FBI or CIA or NSA, in this response to the story?
The whole point of the intelligence community since the end of World War II was that whatever propaganda the CIA produces, whatever disinformation campaigns they engage in, were never supposed to be directed domestically. That was the point of the NSA,
That's right.
CIA, and all of those intelligence communities. And what we've seen since 2016, going back to the 2016 campaign, is incessant involvement in U.S. domestic politics, working with journalists to disseminate information purely for partisan ends. And if you want to talk about things like violating norms and dangerous to democracy, what is more dangerous than allowing the CIA constantly to be manipulating our politics by making cover for the Biden campaign by claiming anonymously that the Russians are behind this story and therefore you ought to disregard it? Even if the Russians were behind the story, why does that alleviate the responsibility of journalists to evaluate these emails and to examine whether or not Joe Biden actually engaged in misconduct? But the much bigger point is the way this information is being disseminated. It is a union of journalists who have decided that their only goal is to defend Joe Biden and elect him president of the United States, working with the CIA and the FBI and the NSA, not to manipulate our adversaries or foreign governments, but to manipulate the American people for their own ends. It's been going on for 4 straight years now, and there's no sign of it stopping anytime soon.
It's terrifying. And I can't believe we're putting up this. I can't believe the administration is putting up with this. They're supposed to be in charge of these agencies. We're going to have to live with the consequences of this for generations, and it's very upsetting. And I appreciate the clarity you have on this. Glenn Greenwald, thank you.
Yeah, except it's not been going on for 4 years. It's been going on for at least 13, because that's how long we've been looking at this bull crap. And Glenn Greenwald has been pretty straight up throughout all those 13 years that we've had stuff from him, no matter who he was talking about. So will this election make any difference? Will the media ever change? Will we see an uprising? Will we see?
We'll just cut off.
I know. I was talking to cover, so you didn't miss anything. Will we see?
Well, I heard the end of the clip, and that's when I got cut off.
Will we see a change in the public's attitude towards media, regardless of who wins the presidential election, or will it make a difference who wins? Your thoughts, John C. Dvorak?
I think the media is just digging a grave for itself.
But how?
The mainstream media I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, no, of course, mainstream.
We're talking about the New York Times. It's really is not trusted as much as it used to be. I mean, it's not the paper of record by any means. Washington Post has always been kind of a stooge for the certain government aspects of the government. These are all supporting just Democrats constantly. You take a look at people like, and they'll boost things like the Lincoln Project, supposedly a bunch of ex-Republicans. If you look at the list of Lincoln Project recommendations for various offices besides the president, all Democrats. So it's just a scam. I mean, if it wasn't for podcasters and real alternative media, not fake alternative media, and by that I mean PBS, which is underwriters and 10 producers and all the rest of it. But real alternative media luckily got enough of a foothold that I think it's making a difference. We'll see.
Podcasting!
Exactly. Go podcasting.
That will do it for our 13th anniversary show. Thank you all so much for producing it with us. Grumpy Old Benz will be next on NoAgendaStream.com. And as you would expect, we have some nice end-of-show mixes. Tom Starkweather. We got Jesse Coy Nelson, Mr. Miyagi's Wild Ride. And we have Rich from Arkansas, who did a nice little job there. And we'd love to see you for our next show. It'll just be 1,290.
First show of our 13th year.
That's right, 13 years old. We've reached puberty. Woo! Finally. Coming to you from Opportunity Zone 33 here in Austin, Texas, capital of the Drone Star State. We are in FEMA Region number 6, in case you're looking for it on the governmental maps. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from Northern Silicon Valley, I do realize that this is actually going to be the first show of the 14th year.
Yep.
So it'll be 14-1. New season. I'm John C. Dvorak.
Season this. Please remember us at Dvorak.org/NA. We will see you again on Thursday for 1,290. Until then, adios, mofos! And congratulations, John. And such.
Congrats to you.
All right, and such. Adios.
For 13
years.
The agenda
Show successfully
provided.
Impactful media analysis. A little bit of unknown news. Have you ever heard about this? Remarkable.
Information
from around the world.
He has influences in his background that are going to push him towards not making this happen.
Risk
management.
It has nothing to do with safety. This is just the theater part. It's just
we know that.
Service animal reports.
Dog in the stroller.
Dog in the stroller.
Relief from swollen amygdalas.
The smallest thing triggers people these days.
Process of healing cognitive dissonance.
Smartphones with cameras is an international health crisis.
Network disconnect.
Regardless
of dimension.
You come here alive.
Go to noagendameetups.com for details.
No Agenda Show.
Celebrating 13
years.
The best
podcast in the universe.
Yeah. The original Money, Honey, and Fox Business News, Maria Bartiromo. The original Money, Honey, and Fox Business News, Maria Bartiromo.
Well, I do think it's extraordinary that there seems to be this cover-up underway.
She's so stunned. I think she's genuinely surprised by this. This is what stuns me. She is stuck. She doesn't have a good slot. She is stuck over on Fox Business.
The original Money, Honey, and Fox Business News, Maria Bartiromo. The original Money, Honey, and Fox Business News, Maria Bartiromo.
The media doesn't want to touch it. It's absolutely extraordinary to me.
Sassy ass bitch.
A sassy ass bitch who turned me on to the show. A sassy ass bitch who turned me on to the show.
She's covering all the bases with these stories. And she's about to have a nervous breakdown. Because nobody is paying any attention to her.
She can take solace in knowing that the producer of House of Cards listens to her.
Oh, there you go again.
Why is there no accountability? He's an elected official. How does he come out on the news media and say all of these things if it's not true, Director?